Please be seated. The show is about to start.
Distancing ourselves from the enemy. Think we've got a method of a remedy. It's hard at times, but we'll make it, yeah. Traveling on our own down the boulevard, surrounded by a shadow side and in the dark. It's hard at times, but we fight it, yeah, we fight it, yeah. We don't believe in what we started. All our plans are crashing down. We gotta try to make it through this. It's too late to turn around. We don't believe in what we started. All our plans are crashing down. We gotta try to make it through this. It's too late to turn around. Distancing ourselves from the enemy. Now they've taken hearts and broken everything. It's hard at times. Can we change it? Can we change it? We don't believe in what we started. All our plans are crashing down. We gotta try to make it through this. It's too late to turn around. We don't believe in what we started. All our plans are crashing down. We gotta try to make it through this. It's too late to turn around.
Yes, I'm excited! Chi-Townie, you got Ric Flair, the captain of the team, behind you. Learn to love it. Diamonds are forever.
Good evening and welcome to PopCULTure episode 4, season 2. I am one of your hosts, 24 Eyes, and right here is my co-host, Miss Amanda B.
Hello, everyone.
And we have a full panel tonight, don't we, ma'am?
We do. I'm excited to see all these people we have and all their input they have to bring.
So I think we should probably we'll bring on our extra panel guest, our extra special commentators. So first of all, the one and only lovely Lola Meets. How are you, ma'am?
Yay! I'm good. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm pretty stoked about today. We got a lot of good stuff on the roster, and we got a lot of good people on panel. Another great person that I love. Met him on one of the first episodes of this new season, and he's a really great guy. He's got some awesome stories. He's got some cool color to add to everything. Mr. Nicotronis.
Hey, let's get that color, but I don't mean the hard way.
That's what I'm saying. Now our featured guest. These guys got a project going on. They got a channel going on. They're moving and grooving, and they're out here jucking and jiving and doing their sales thing. First of all, we'll add Mr. Dirk because he's on the thumbnail. How are you, sir?
Hey, how are you?
There's the dog. Life's home.
and his streaming partner and partner in crime just in general, Mr. Murph. How are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm usually the one getting in trouble. So,
Well, you and your food.
Well, I'm excited to have both of you guys on here. I thought I was just gonna have Dirk on tonight, so we'll fix up that thumbnail after the show.
well, let's see how the show goes first. I don't know.
Yeah, you may want to leave
You don't know
that
if you
on.
want to claim
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, I mean, you never, ever know. But we do a lot of things on this show. And one of the things that we do are birthdays. I like to do birthdays right at the top because I think that it's a good, happy way to get things popping. So here are our celebrity birthdays for the week.
With the new. I just want to say the number one sign is Taurus.
Right?
Ooh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
May
nope.
babies are great. May
Aquarius.
babies.
I agree with that.
It was just Derek's birthday. What, Tuesday or Monday? I should know, but
Tuesday.
I should,
Oh, happy belated.
I should know, but I'm a terrible good friend.
Happy
Ain't that the
belated
truth,
birthday.
man?
I got it was close. Monday, Tuesday. Like, come on.
Somewhere in the vicinity. I kind of remembered. Can I say that Paris Hilton is like looking gorgeous in her like later years? I wasn't a fan like in my 20s when she was like younger and stuff, but
When
like back
she
when
was-
she was doing the reality show and stuff, was not a fan. But now she's
Yeah.
kind of grown into her looks and stuff.
I
She
don't think
used to
looks
look like
much
a.
different.
She does. Like she used to look like a
I'm gonna
number
have
2
to Google
pencil.
her.
Yeah, now she looks like a full adult.
Yeah.
So she's not as emaciated looking as she was?
Yeah, there's like some shape.
Maybe she just got off the heroin.
She found food.
She found
That will
out
help. That will help.
found food
Found
and
food.
her-
That's probably
and her
true.
30s. There's a couple of other great birthdays in there. We had Ice-T in there. That's I'm
Yeah.
excited about. I wish Ice-T would bring back his reality show. I loved that. I just like knowing that Ice-T's out there chilling, playing video games in his apartment in New York, having fun with his silly wife.
Sucks seeing Chris Farley.
Yeah,
Chris Farley.
He shared a birthday
Man,
with me. I didn't know that. That was cool.
That is pretty cool.
In
I
a
miss-
van down by the
I miss
river.
I think the one that stuck out to me was Meg Tilly. I hadn't seen that name in forever.
Oh yeah. Seems like she's been out of it for a long time, man.
Was the one person Vanna White? I wasn't sure who that
Yes.
was. Okay.
Yeah, we had Vanna White on there. Vanna White still looks amazing. Vanna White has aged very gracefully.
That's
Yeah,
it's
well.
it's kind of crazy. Like I don't know, baby's blood. Like,
Maybe
how does that happen?
there is eye cream where they take like the foreskin from like babies or whatever, and
Yeah,
yeah. So,
What?
she probably eats
They
it.
sell that on QVC.
She eats it. Oh,
I mean, South Korea was selling dead baby pills to China for a while, so
Wow.
Dead
there
baby
is
pills?
that. Yeah,
Like made out of dead babies?
yeah, like grinded up.
100%
That's
natural
better, but I'm
dead
like,
baby.
wait, are they selling it to kill the babies? But okay.
No, the babies are already dead and they're in the pills.
It's a pill.
Dead baby pills.
It's
They're not to eradicate the babies. The babies are the pills.
It's like right out of Aeon Flux. Like if you do a zoom in on the pill, you're just gonna see a tiny, teeny little baby.
have you ever heard this? Have you ever heard the saying "new blood"? That is because, like in animals, if you put a younger animal's blood in an older, the older animal will de-age. So your blood is a big thing. So that's why you get the whole vampire thing. And I mean, Jennifer Lopez has to be doing something.
She is.
Oh yeah,
She is
yeah.
good
Because
at
if you saw her in that music video with Iggy Azalea, and like, yeah, she looked too good to be like in that greater shape for that age.
And
Next to
here's the
someone
other
that
thing. There's one thing I feel like it necessarily needs to be pointed out, especially when it comes to talking about Jennifer Lopez, and in a music video like that, like Photoshop isn't just for pictures anymore. Like videos,
right.
they throw so much CGI on everything and in places you wouldn't expect it. So
You know what amazes me when they do stunt butts? Like when a person's already been naked on camera and then they
Yeah.
get a stunt butt season 2. Like, we already saw your butt. What is the difference if it's a stunt one now?
like Brie Larson had a stunt ass in Captain Marvel, if I recall correctly.
I mean, isn't that kind of sexist in 2022 to have a stunt butt? Like, oh, you're just ridiculous. I'm the stunt butt for Angelina Jolie.
I mean, maybe it's, I don't know, these actors, maybe they just need to like step it up a notch and work on their asses.
I don't know. I'd feel pretty honored if I was like the stunt butt for Jennifer Lopez.
For
Right.
sure.
You, Lola?
I mean, her ass is insured for what, $3 million or something like that? So,
Yeah.
Oh,
Why are we trying to take jobs away from the ass community? Do
That's
the
the way I
thing.
feel.
good asses are like hard to come by.
There-
Come on.
all the stunt butts of America are gonna try to take down the outcast owls now because we spoke out against their community. It's like when Peter Dinklage went against Seven Dwarfs.
They're,
Oh,
That's it.
trying
I'm
to-
starting to
they're trying to
write.
separate
That's
the
awesome.
population like butt cheeks.
Well, here on Pop Culture, we like to do a lot of different things, and one of the things we like to do. Yes,
Sorry to
ma'am.
interrupt you. Say hi to people in the chat. We haven't even greeted them.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Welcome
yeah.
for joining us.
Oh, I thought I did that in the intro by
You just
highlighting.
pulled
them.
up some of them. But there are
Well,
some
let's
good
run
comments.
through our chat and say what's good to all the people out there. We got Snuggy Jr. in the chat. How are you, sir? Snuggy's been a panel guest. I like Snuggy a lot. I'd like to have him back on in the future, sir. Loyalty to a fault. Thank you very much, showing us the owl love out there. Miss Amanda B's in the chat with us. Hicksvillian, how are you, sir? Thank you for joining us. We got Neek in there, audience. Dank RL, another Al fan. Thank you, sir, for showing up, showing love. Mary Jane, whoop whoop. What's good, girl? It's part of our Juggalo percentage of the community. Dirk Clay, man to be. We got who else? We got Jeremy Burtz and the man. I love Jeremy. I see him all the time in other chats. We're always saying what's up. And let's see. I think we're good and caught up for the moment right now on the active, visible people in our chat logs. But with that, yeah, we got the lurkers. Wow, there's always the lurkers. But we like to talk about what's going on in this week in pop culture. And so let's see what we got going on. February 12th to 13th, this week in pop culture. 1914, the first stone of Washington's D.C. Lincoln Monument was put into place. I think that, that I really like that kind of history. The cool thing about these monuments, though, is that people forget is that they have little secret things under them and stuff. And they've been finding under some of these statues that they've been tearing down recently. They've been finding time capsules and whatnot going on. Let's see. 19. Oh, I'm all out of order on my videos here. Amanda B, would you like to take over reading so I can sort
the
these
reading?
videos?
Yeah. So we don't have a video for the memorial, right? We're okay to move on?
Yeah, you can keep going.
All right. So in 1931, Dracula premiered in theaters. In 2004, Mattel officially announced the split of Barbie and Ken.
So,
Still too soon.
This is terrible. That should have never happened. That should never happen. But
look, she discovered G.I. Joe. What can I say?
She enjoyed the feel of that kung fu grip.
This is completely sad. No, check this out. I was actually able to find this. This was such a serious thing that people didn't even realize. Watch this clip.
Good morning. This is an announcement we thought we'd never make. As Barbie's representative, we will today address the rumors surrounding Ken and Barbie's 43-year relationship. As some of you may know from various encounters I've had with the media over many years, I never, ever comment on my clients' personal lives, ever. I'll violate that slightly today, because I will confirm that Ken and Barbie are going to go their separate ways. Many of you maybe did not know, though, that that Ken and Barbie met in 1961 on the set of their first TV commercial. And we'd like to share that beginning with you.
It all started at the dance. Barbie, the famous teenage fashion model doll by Mattel, felt that this was to be a special night. And then it happened. She met Ken. And somehow she knew that she and Ken would be going together. So now Mattel brings you Ken, Barbie's boyfriend, with a complete wardrobe of perfectly tailored clothes of unmatched quality. Now Ken and Barbie meet for lunch at school, go to fraternity parties, and just relax together. Think of the fun you'll have taking Barbie and Ken on dates, dressing each one just right. You'll find Ken wherever toys are sold. Look for this special tag that tells you he's the genuine Ken. Get both Barbie and Ken and see where the romance will lead. It could lead to this.
New car, and, well, Ken just can't keep up. That way for girls, she's wearing board shorts, she's a surfer girl. See, this is one of the new ways of life.
That's a shame. I'm angry. I'm angry. Usually pop culture makes me happy, but it makes me angry when they do terrible things like this. 43 years, Ken and Barbie.
Now, Snuggie asks what's up with Barbie's head. She's had a few makeovers. I want to say 4 or 5 over the course of the years.
Oh. Plastic surgery.
First.
Wasn't Barbie originally a sex doll or something? Before, I think it was something weird like that got turned into a toy.
No, I think the original doll was based on a cartoon that the person and the subject of the cartoon was a phone sex operator or a prostitute or something. There is kind of a sordid history to it, but
Interesting.
she was this. I think she kind of came to mind based on this comic strip.
Well, I also was able. You know what's funny? Like you never know what you can dig up or find. Now, the Washington Monument, 20-minute videos on it or whatever, right? But I was able to find the actual theatrical trailer for Dracula. So let's check this out.
I am Dracula. A moment ago, I stumbled upon a most amazing phenomenon. Something so incredible, I mistrust my own judgment. Look.
Dracula. The very mention of the name brings to mind things so evil, so fantastic, so degrading. You wonder if it isn't all a dream, a nightmare.
Rats. Thousands. Millions of them.
But no, this is no dream. This is Dracula, the original terrifying story of a maniac and a man who lived after death, lived on human blood, took the form of a vampire bat, and lured innocent girls to a fate truly worse than death.
Dracula? Oh, what's he done to you, dearie? Tell me.
He came to me. He opened a thing in his arm, and he made me drink.
Dracula.
Don't you like the old descriptions? Like people used to be like way more simpler. There used to be less like convoluted stuff. It was very simple. Here's a scary creature who takes advantage of women and drinks their blood and turns people like it used to be so broke down to the basics of like what a bad guy was.
Yeah.
I didn't understand his face.
Amazing.
Like, why was he making that face? I always wondered what that was all about. Like, why did it look like he was like,
I think it was
constipated or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
Like
smelling
their
people's blood.
I just never understood why he held his face like that.
their idea of like.
Did you know like they had lights on his eyes?
Did they really?
I was
So,
just going to comment on that. The special
Yeah, you
effects.
could see it.
I think the reason why he was kind of stuck where he was at is because of the special effects. Because they were trying to do something, like to freak the audience out with the eyes, and because like what most special effects back then were like tape and like string and
projecting.
glue.
Yeah, very
Practical effects.
I don't know. That bat looked pretty legit.
Yeah, it did look nice.
What did he do to you, darling? He made me drink blood. That was just so awesome. Not a turn, like all the drastic monster stuff that we do now. It's just happened to me.
Are any of y'all Ed Wood fans?
I'm
Not particularly.
Not so much.
Okay, so like Ed Wood was one of those that like he would make really like cheesy alien UFO type films and stuff. He had Bela Lugosi in Plan 9 from Outer Space. But that's why I mentioned him. But like he would like have spaceships that would like drop down on strings and stuff. And they'd be like little models. It was those kind of movies.
Special effects.
I mean, that was their special effects.
Nice.
I remember seeing the Johnny Depp movie of him.
Oh yeah.
That's
That's my knowledge of it.
Ed Wood.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that was just the 12th. Let's see what we got on the 13th.
On the 13th in 1965, 16-year-old Peggy Fleming won the ladies figure skating title at Lake Placid the ladies senior figure skating title at Lake Placid, New York.
So I don't have this 1965 one, but what I do have is Peggy Fleming at the Olympics. Let's see what she did a little bit at the Olympics.
Strange to see this. It kind of gives me goosebumps.
Pure Domination by Peggy Fleming in 1968. That was the same year. So that was 3 years later after she won that, and she was in the Olympics, and she dominated pretty good.
That's a fantastic little dump truck in that green outfit of hers.
I love 60s women.
How she got air on ice with that hairstyle is beyond me.
That is pretty crazy.
It's probably like a hard hat with all the Aquanet stuff. You know?
People don't realize how hard that is.
Aquanet is amazing.
Yeah, but the skating looks just like today's. Like I thought I was watching today's Winter Olympics just as much. Like the moves haven't changed to me at all.
Thank you so much.
Just refining.
There are some more difficult maneuvers that have come into play, but yeah, for the most part, it's the same.
Yeah, now, well, I mean, that's the same thing as like, you know what? That's when people like, you know, I was around to see Tony Hawk do the 900. So now, like, fucking 12-year-olds can do a 900. Whatever. Somebody had to break that barrier, you know? Or somebody did the first backflip on a motorcycle. Now everybody does 2 and 3. Fine, whatever. But someone had to learn how to do the first one.
Right.
And die, probably, like, kill themselves.
Somebody had to be Evil Knievel, right?
Somebody, exactly.
Carrie Hart had like I think the first one in the X Games, like the first like the good backflip, and then you know other people perfected it afterwards. But you know, there's that first guy had to do it to make everybody else think that they could do it, and then you know all of a sudden the transition of skills goes down to the kids, right? Like
totally.
You know, we worked out all this stuff, and now they're learning it so much earlier, and then by the time they're 13-year-olds 20.
It's like Todd McFarlane and Michael Golden. Most people don't really know that Todd McFarlane basically stole all his webbing and his big eyes and shit from Michael Golden, and people attribute it to Todd, but you know.
Well, it's because of that T-shirt. Todd's T-shirt for that Spider-Man cover that was on a T-shirt, the big webbing and stuff. Like that thing was everywhere, like fucking everywhere. Things like that. You know what I mean? When you see something and you don't even know the artist, but you just know the iconography, like the actual art itself.
Yeah. And I mean, but that's kind of what I mean too. Is you know, like Michael Golden was doing it, and Marvel editors were telling him to stop doing it, and Todd saw it, and he was like, "No, fuck that! I'm going to do that."
We're doing a wholesale. We're in.
You know what's crazy? I was just watching a YouTube video. I don't know what it was, but they were talking about all the Image guys, and they're known for their art, but they're like, what great stories? They're like, you think of Frank Miller, and there's tons of great stories. They're like, they didn't have any like great, long-lasting stories, and I never thought of it. And I was like, shit, he does it.
Oh, I mean, if I was a writer back then, if I was one of those hot artists back then, I would like to think with my mind state that I would have negotiated it out and brought myself a writer with me. You know what I mean? Like if I was going to go challenge Marvel, I would have brought a writer with my art just to double smack them upside the head.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because I think they tried to get Chris Claremont to come along, at least like Jim Lee. I think he tried to get Claremont to come along to Image, but he had a contract that he was kind of locked into with Marvel for a bit longer, and eventually.
No, didn't he leave Marvel before Image came?
I think he left, and then
Jim Lee pissed him off. Jim Lee wanted to do stuff with the X-Men that he didn't want to do.
Yeah, like because I think Chris left off after like X-Men 2 or 3 or something like that.
Might have been 7, if I'm thinking.
Oh, was it 7? It might have been that. Yeah,
7. He was done because Jim Lee and him didn't have the same, I guess, ideas on where they wanted to go, and
for sure,
Marvel was going to go with Jim Lee.
Yeah, I mean that. What Jim wasn't around much longer anyway, and then I think what was it, issue like 9 or 10 of Wildcats, which was probably like 3 years into the series run.
Yeah.
I think Claremont wrote an issue or two and created a couple characters, but they never went anywhere.
Yeah. Weird time in comic book history.
Yeah. Definitely.
It's a good point. That's a good point with McFarlane.
Good one, Hex Villain.
See, that's a terrible thing. You shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
The art was good at popping, but the story is what keeps people there, and story is more powerful than anything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just never thought of it that way. But yeah, none of them have. Like, you can't even be like, "Oh, this is so." You just don't. There's nothing. There's.
Like, don't you remember that amazing issue of Cyberforce?
Well, yeah, it's the 90s. It's all pop and circumstance. I mean, that's what the 90s was. It was extreme. Yeah. Remember, everything was extreme.
Super cross-hatched and overly rendered, and it was the 90s. Everything was extreme.
Well, here's something a little less extreme. Charles Schultz died on February 11th in 2000, and unfortunately, the last original Peanuts comic strip was published on February 11th. And I was able to find a little bit of an interview, watch like a second or two of this Charles Schultz going here, but it is amazing, like the advancement of cartoons from all different things, from whether TV or strips.
Yeah.
I was trying to drag that out, but I am not. I didn't have it.
You also skipped over the fact that Double Dare ended.
Oh yeah. Oh man, you know what? Okay, I found the Double Dare one. Good save. Double Dare was one of my favorite shows. No, I talked to man about this. We might do a segment where we compare prizes from the game shows back in the day, because Double Dare and Dare and Family Double Dare and Super Slapper, they had the best prizes out of any kids game show. Period. They had tons of them. If you can make it to the final round, you go through all the obstacles.
Yeah.
You were getting a Casio watch with the fucking the calculator on it. You were getting the bike. I think they had like BK Diamond Cells was one of the things that you could win. The British Knights back in the day. Oh man, there was like there was different video, like Genesis was on there for a while. There was so many things that you could win that were just like the most awesome thing ever in the world. Like all the stuff out of the Sears catalogs and stuff. But I did find that clip. Let's see. We got a little bit. This was the road show that happened in 1993, the year that we stopped doing.
If you love Double Dare, crave goop, glop, and gat, join the crowd. Nickelodeon's taking Double Dare on the road live. Get tickets now and be there with Mark and Robin for the physical stunts, the obstacle course, and all the messy excitement. Be there when kids are picked right out of the audience to participate. You could play. You could get slime. You could win great Nickelodeon prizes.
We're coming to your city, and it won't be pretty.
The Double Dare Live Tour, presented by Double Checks, is sliming its way to the Philadelphia Civic Center February 1st. In New York, the Paramount Theater, Madison Square Garden, February 2nd.
Dude, does that not get you excited? Did you not want to be a part of that? I wanted to be a part of that so bad. I was watching commercials like, I want to be in the crowd. Pick me.
I used to like beg my mom to take me to Universal because I just wanted to do that show.
They used to have the whole Nickelodeon thing at Universal. They had like the whole the big fountain and stuff. They're like, come down to Universal Studios, Nicktoon Studio. I don't know what happened. Like, what happened to all that? There was so much great momentum. It's like there was a point where we had so much great shit that they were just killing stuff off prematurely, and now we're at this deficit. Like we have just murdered more content.
Didn't they sell? They sold Nickelodeon to Paramount, right?
Yeah,
I think it changed after that, man. It like went down.
Because Nickelodeon was Viacom originally, right?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, once they sold
but
it, man. Went to
everything
Kings
is
Island.
everything now. Like, how many companies are there really? Like, we went back. Basically, all the utility companies nowadays used to be the telephone company, the original Graham company that got split into a bunch of different things, and now they've kind of grown back all together. We're back down to like 3 choices again. It's just on multiple platforms.
Didn't Disney Channel kind of hurt Nickelodeon too? Didn't that kind of
sure.
like
Yeah.
come over?
Yeah, and I don't know how though. Disney shows weren't as intelligent as Nickelodeon shows. Like I think that you're a little bit of a smarter kid if you were like digging into Nickelodeon because they just had more themes, like more overall themes. You had like Camp Salute Your Shorts. I think Hey Dude was on there.
Yep. Hey Dude. They had like that Clarissa Explains It All. Did you say Salute Your Shorts?
Yeah, Salute Your Shorts.
Shit!
Dude.
Hey Dude was good too.
Hey Dude, absolutely, yeah.
I grew up on all of those. It's like my childhood in that show.
Like just thinking about that, I can remember being in like middle school and watching those.
Or when you had to buy your phone from the phone company. That's true.
Yeah. Holy shit. Dude, I still remember my very first childhood home phone number, and like back in the day before you had like cordless phones that you could walk around the house with, we just had one phone in the kitchen with this insane
the long
cord.
Yeah, the cord that could go 50 feet that stretched out that you would like get yourself entangled in, walk around.
You would imagine that if you wanted to bungee jump off the roof of your house, like that would be the perfect thing to use. That.
Do you remember calling home? Do you remember using the collect system to call home because your parents were too cheap?
Yeah.
Just that 10 seconds. I'm at the library. Come pick me up.
No, I do not accept that call.
Collect calls, dude. That doesn't. People don't even understand what that means anymore. Like they don't understand that there used to be a money difference to call somebody in a different state, let alone a different country.
Man. Yeah, I remember when like calling somebody in another state used to cost so fucking much money.
Yeah, man.
Like,
yeah, and if you're on the border part of town, like I was in lower part of Ohio, anytime you're close to Indiana like that and you have Indiana friends, it was long distance when I was in high school. And they could literally be across the street from you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're like in Union City, you cross it exactly across the street from you is a different area code.
Can you imagine if you had a phone in your pocket like kids do today when you were a kid? Like, my God. There'd definitely be things I'd record that I would not want anyone to see.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't record any of the stupid shit I did.
I'm glad cell phones weren't a thing when I was growing up. Because, like, I
Polaroids were bad enough. At least you can burn the Polaroid, though.
MMJ brings up a good point about getting out the rotary phone when the power goes out, because that's true. You know, now these days, like, I only have a cell phone. Power goes, well, I suppose cell phone still works, but, you know, power goes out, there's cordless phone don't work.
You remember when you got the first cordless phone though? After the cord debacle for so long, the first time you got that, you walk around, you just thought you're the coolest person.
You remember when you would talk to your friends all night and like it would go dead?
And you're like, fuck my
And then your parents would be like all pissed the next day because they couldn't even call.
That, and then when the internet came about and they started like giving out those AOL discs and stuff, and you're like, every time somebody calls, it kicks you offline. You're like, fuck.
Yeah. And you would hear it going, you know, doing that the whole time on the call. Oh my gosh, it would drive me nuts.
That was the first thing. You had to convince your parents to get internet. Then you had to convince them to get a second phone line so that you could use the internet. And then
the struggle was real.
At like, 8 hours into downloading a picture, you might see, might be at the level of code where you get to the nipple.
Yeah. If you're lucky.
8-bit porn.
Man, those are the days.
I used to sit there. I remember when cable internet came out and you were just like, downloads were like that. And I was like, what?
Wow.
What? It was Zoom. I was like, that's insane. How did that happen? Now I get angry over the smallest thing. Like this shit doesn't load on YouTube in like 2 seconds. I'm like ready to throw my device.
Right.
Do you remember like scrambled cable?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Scrambled cable net.
You had a black cable box growing up, like and that's not a racial thing.
All the young kids out there.
Yeah.
Like I got a spot.
A broken cable box that allowed you to get like all the pay-per-view channels, all the HBO.
Yeah, but what people don't understand is that cable boxes used to be like like completely mechanical, and there was a
yeah,
mechanical slider that changed the channel on it.
Yep.
They used to slide across. There was no remote. There was no like no
My
digital
aunt and uncle
stuff.
had one of those. I remember those.
We had the big satellite dishes.
Ooh,
Oh, the one you can cook an egg on, right?
Yeah, man. Yes.
Remember rabbit ears? Anybody?
Oh
remember?
yeah. Oh yeah. We had rabbit ears.
Or rabbit ears, tinfoil, trying to make it.
I remember being
Don't move! Don't move!
Yeah.
Don't move! You got it.
I can't see it.
Right there.
Being the youngest in your family and having to hold it there while the older
Yes.
siblings would, yeah.
Or how
Or
about
just
when you-
being the remote as the youngest. Go change the channel.
Yeah.
Well, even movies, like you had to rewind them before you could watch them. And then you got the silver rewind that did it way faster. And that was like a thing, like, oh man. It
The
took 2
rewinding.
minutes.
I remember there was rewinding machines because it was faster, and
Yeah.
like that was like you could get beat up in public if you didn't rewind your videos like that. Like people took offense to you not rewinding your videotape. That was
Be
a real
kind,
crime.
rewind.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I worked at
So much better.
Blockbuster for a very small window of time in my youth, and like I can easily remember people coming back to the store with a videotape they had just rented and being pissed off because it wasn't rewound. That like we didn't rewind it, and whoever rented it last didn't rewind it either. It was just like, seriously.
Man, kids are only kids. Can you still use rabbit ears on some channels? I'd say most channels are digital now.
Yeah, I think it's almost everything's digital now.
Yeah.
Like you might pick up some UHF stuff, maybe. I don't know.
Oh man, you remember that Weird Al's UHF movie? That was back in the day when you could do funny shit. People weren't offended about anything. Just make jokes.
Better days.
Well, we got through the first 2 days. Here's the second 2 days of this week.
In 1929, on February 14th, Sir Alexander Fleming left a plate of Staphylococcus bacteria uncovered and noticed the mold had killed much of the bacteria. He identified the mold as penicillin.
Nice.
In 2002, the final Family Guy episode aired after Fox announced its cancellation. It came back after DVD sales indicated a huge audience for the show.
Well, see, that's a partial truth. Like, pause on that one. That's a partial truth because they also got that's when they that was Fox shut them down, right? They canceled them, and then they went to Adult Swim, right, for like a year or two, and then they came back or like a season, and they came back with all the fury in the world.
Yep. Yeah. So they never really stopped.
No, not really.
No, it's completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Well, that's like Futurama. Remember, like Futurama had its ending, and then they brought it back for like a few seasons.
Oh yeah, now Adult Swim used to be the place where good cartoons were at. It was just it was just a fact.
In 2005, HTTP YouTube.com was launched.
Can I tell you that I thought I was going to be able to find the original YouTube commercial on YouTube? You would think that it'd be registered somewhere. Can't find it. Could not find that. Could not find it. Completely. Yeah, I was so upset about that.
Crazy.
That seems way too young. 2005. Like it should be like
It does.
2000 or 97. Like
Yeah,
what the
that's
heck?
weird.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't think I registered on YouTube until 2007.
I don't even know when I was really on YouTube because I don't think I got on YouTube until 2014, something like that. 2005, I was in the Marine Corps. That's when
People
I
were still
joined.
doing MySpace at this time.
Yeah. That's the only thing I was on.
And then Facebook launched, and then you had YouTube come about. So
Yeah.
it was like everybody was starting to get in that Silicon Valley.
The only reason I had a Facebook while I was in the Marine Corps is because I was married and my wife wanted to have my profile with the marriage thing on her profile. You know, where you could say that you're married to so and so or whatever. She wanted
Facebook official.
Yeah. She wanted to be Facebook official or whatever. So she actually ran it for the first 3 years. I didn't even know I had it. I was just existing in the world with a Facebook page. just doing MySpace, and then like even like MySpace fell off. I was just in the Marine Corps at a certain point and not tapped into anything until Twitter came out. When Twitter came out, there was a lot of like coupons, and so I fucking.
What are you talking about? MySpace fell off. I still have a MySpace.
Oh my gosh!
But
I didn't think you could.
I can get into it. Yeah.
I thought they were done. Like I thought they didn't even exist.
No, they're still around.
They usually like they're a big platform for like musicians and stuff now.
Oh,
wow. Weren't they before? I thought that's what they did, and then it kind of fell off.
No, it was like the first social media site, and then it kind of like Facebook took over, and they kind of just deflated to what they were. Because I had a MySpace, and then I graduated high school, and that's when Facebook came about. And so Facebook is about as old as my marriage.
Do you guys remember when you needed to have like an official college email address in order?
Yeah, that's when my wife joined it. She joined it in college. She was in college when that started. She was finishing up when I was doing my first year in the Marine Corps.
Like that was originally how Facebook was set up. Like you couldn't just go and create an account. You needed to have, like an actual college email.
Because wasn't it?
Yeah, I was in college
for
at
like
the time.
college students, like to have social interaction.
Pretty
It
much.
started on a campus. Yep, for
Yeah.
social interaction. I held out so long. I had my MySpace forever, and I was like, I'm not ever gonna go to Facebook ever.
But do you remember the MySpace Friends debacle? You had your top 10, and if you didn't have the right people in the top 10, they get so pissy.
Or was it Tom? No.
Yeah,
Thomas Facebook.
I do
Oh my
remember
gosh.
that. Wow.
I just remember how like all these people who are not rock stars would make their pages look like they were rock stars. And they would put like pictures of bands up and share music and all that stuff. And I was just like, they're
I
sharing more
loved how
music
you
than
could make all that personalized. The music, the backdrop. You can change the HTML and.
You know that they have
was
a thing called Space Hay? Some like 18-year-old kid remade the original MySpace. It's called Space Hay. It's the same thing. You can do all that kind of coding stuff you did with the original MySpace.
Wow.
Yeah, some like 19-year-old kid was like, look at this cool ancient thing that's only 20 years old. Because nowadays, if it's fucking 5 minutes old, it's fucking ancient. You know how many? Because of the show, like it reminds me of stuff, right? And I'll be cracking jokes at work, and I'm 38, and everybody else is like in their 20s, and like the only other person that's 30 is is in his early 30s. So I make all these jokes, and none of these motherfuckers understand what I'm talking about. I'm just I was talking to the wall, talking gibberish. I'm just a crazy vet. I like, dude.
See, that's why you keep to yourself. Nobody gets your joke, so why talk to them?
I have to explain it to him. No, I have to pull it up on YouTube and explain. Today I made a joke about plate spinning, and I had to show 9 different people what plate spinning is.
Dang.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Now I feel old. Gosh.
Yeah.
That's funny.
They don't have a reference. Like that's the thing. There are people that are only like 5, 6, maybe 8 years younger than us that have no reference to like 3/4 of society. What happened in history?
Anything before the internet, basically.
Yeah, it's insane. Like, yeah,
That
and
is
then
insane.
even then they don't even know all the internet lore. That's the sad part.
Yeah. They all just know Rule 34.
I don't think so, because I had to look that up not that long ago.
Oh, really?
Yes. But anyways, all right. In February 15th, 1758, mustard was first advertised for sale in America.
I tried to find the first mustard ad. It was not popping up. Could not find I couldn't even find like the print version of it. I was hoping. I was wondering like what the package looked like. Was it
So wait a minute. How old is mustard like in the world?
Old. Like
Yeah.
probably India, right?
That's what I was thinking. So why did it take so long here?
1758. I mean, we crossed the ocean and got here, and they had mustard. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
For sale, advertised for sale before you would make your own.
I mean, 1642. I mean, less than 100 years that like it was advertised in America.
When was butter advertised?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
Look
My
that up.
probably 1758.
First commercial for butter.
Yeah.
In 1950, Disney's Cinderella cartoon feature opened in theaters.
Wow.
And
Now, the amazing thing about that is that back in the day when Disney made cartoons, it used to be a real like epic thing. Like that was an actual feat.
Yeah.
And that movie opened up multiple times in theaters. So like the following years, after
there was several. Yep.
Several re-releases into theaters.
Well, they probably didn't have so many movies that they were cranking out like they were.
Yeah, they didn't have weekly movies.
Well, they also didn't have
took them a lot
Chinese
longer.
Korean labor to like draw all the pictures for them like we did in the 90s.
Yeah, it took them a lot longer to do the cartoons.
That is true.
Yeah.
In 1992, serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer was sentenced in Milwaukee to life in prison.
That's the year I graduated high school.
Oh man, we have.
I started school.
You guys want to see what was popping with Jeffrey Dahmer in 1992?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to avoid going to a prison. At the same time, he continues to control the audience, his psychiatrist, his lawyer, and everybody else. Dahmer is in control here.
Court-appointed psychiatrist Dr. George Palermo says Jeffrey Dahmer is enjoying his notoriety and doesn't want to go to prison because he's afraid of black inmates. Dahmer is taking exception with those remarks and Dr. Palermo's testimony that he got a kick out of killing. His attorney read a letter from Dahmer to the media.
I never said I was afraid of any fellow prisoner, white or black. I told Palermo their insults were irritating.
In his note, Dahmer wrote, "Is Dr. Palermo senile or trying to distort my words? And I never said I get a kick out of it."
Now you tell me that a guy's enjoying it who has his lawyer have to come down and say, this is what's on this kid's mind.
In court today, the prosecution's argument that Jeffrey Dahmer could control his urge to kill got a boost. 3 young men took the stand who Dahmer drugged, sexually assaulted, but did not kill. A teenager testified in 1988 when he was just 13 years old. Dahmer offered him $50 to pose for pictures. The teen said while posing, Dahmer pushed him on the bed and fondled him.
He put his ears to my stomach. Then he started kissing it.
Started kissing your stomach?
Yes.
Dahmer allowed the teenager to leave his apartment. The boy's parents called police, and Dahmer was charged and convicted of second-degree sexual assault. Dahmer killed the teenager's younger brother, 14-year-old Conorak Synthesiphone, last May. Ann Kavanaugh, Fox News, Chicago.
What a shitty younger brother or older brother. Like, what the fuck? You got out of there and you let your brother get sniped? What the fuck?
That was weird how they presented it, too. They're like, oh, and the brother was murdered. Like, I was like, that was a twist.
I don't follow the timeline. They were both in the apartment at the same time together. One was left? Or
I don't know. That didn't make sense.
I think it was 2 separate occasions. Like, on one occasion, he went there, he posed for photos. Weird interaction happened, and he didn't warn his brother, and his brother went in and then got murdered. Awesome. And Jeffrey Dahmer, I mean, he was like drilling into people's head, like skulls, and like.
Oh yeah, he did all kinds of crazy shit.
Did you watch the Netflix movie they did on it? It was really good. No one watched it?
I watched the Jeremy Renner version of Dahmer. I watched the Jeremy Renner version.
What's his name was Jeffrey Dahmer in it? The kid that used to sing and he was in the
High
Rock
School Musical?
Zac Efron?
Oh,
yeah, that one.
Yeah. Wait, he didn't play Dahmer.
Yeah, he did.
Played. I thought he played.
He played Bundy.
Yeah, he
Ted
played
Bundy. He played
Jack.
Ted Bundy.
Yeah. Bundy's the hand.
Yeah.
Remember? Like, this is the thing I don't get, ladies. This is what I don't get. Women are so weird because they're like. Some of these classically handsome guys, like Jeffrey Dahmer was considered, or not Jeffrey Dahmer, Bundy was considered like classically handsome. Like a bunch of women loved him, really thought he was super attractive.
Wow.
To see what Bundy did was he opened our eyes to see that serial killers can come in any form, right? Predators can come in any form. They don't. They're not this big creepy person that's wearing like the overcoat and looks nasty or any of that. They can be well dressed and they can have money and they can, be well groomed.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say if there's a predator out there that looks like Lola's avatar, you can Come on.
He can predate
my
me.
way and get all predatory and shit.
And yes, there are female predators. So.
Yes, there are.
Yeah.
Like that's what Bundy did. Was he opened America, not just America, the world's eyes to like the fact that predators don't come in this one creepy look, right?
This is true.
You know what though? Like, but the thing is though, like I don't know if it's a weird thing with our mixed like heritage in America because we are the most mixed culture that exists, in the world. We're like a big melting pot. But like we have the most extreme cases of the crazies in the world. Like we have special policing units. Like when you watch Law and Order and like SVU, that doesn't exist in a lot of countries in Europe. And so like when there's like a serial killer and it's some kind of like weird sexual crime thing, they call American FBI to come in and help them investigate because they don't have people that specialize because they don't have the amount of people. Like they don't have the science behind it because they haven't had the studies because they don't produce the same amount of serial killers that we do.
Right. That makes sense.
And we have some.
So
great
America is mentally unstable.
Well, I mean, we're look, with great reward, there's great risk. So for all the good, there's some bad. Like if we're going to be number one in the world, we're also going to have some issues here and there.
That is true.
Well, our mental
serial
health system is in terrible condition, but that's for another show, so I won't get into that.
This is America stream. America. Does anyone? Okay, Murph and Dirk, you guys are from Ohio. Did you ever listen? I don't know if you're close enough to Cincinnati to ever hear 700 WLW or hear the personality character that was on there, Earl Pitts American.
No.
He was like oh man, he would get on Earl Pitts American. He was like a truck driver. You know what makes me more angry than whatever? Yeah. He would just have one of those lines that go into it, and then he would just complain about something. Oh God, I miss Midwest talk radio.
The name seems familiar, but I never watched his show.
He was just like one of those drop-in segments, right? Like those little quick radio play things that you would hear, like the little like 3-minute story things that as a bumper they would play or whatever. It was one of the radio hosts on 700 WLW that did the voice or whatever, but it was something that was syndicated, like they used on other radio shows and stuff. Mostly
now, Columbus kind of has their own station, so I don't think anything from Cincinnati ever came up here.
February 16th and 17th. What was popping?
On the 16th, 1968, Haleyville, Alabama was the first town to use the 911 emergency number.
Does everyone want to hear the first 911 call?
Oh, yes.
From 1968?
Yeah.
It's
At 2 p.m. on February 16, 1968, the very first 911 call was made in Haleyville, Alabama. The call was made by State Representative Rankin Veit from Haleyville Mayor James Witt's office and was answered by U.S. Representative Tom Bevel at the Haleyville Police Station on a bright red telephone that was given to the city by the Alabama Telephone Company. Haleyville still celebrates their part in 911 history with an annual festival.
Oh, that wasn't
was clickbait. I was like a real
The call was present on the screen. You had to read it though. Pause your screen.
Wow.
Flip it up.
Oh.
But I mean, like, isn't it cool that the first 911 call was done on the bat phone? Like literally on a bat phone? Like that's pretty awesome, is it not?
That is awesome.
I was expecting some real crime.
So real good at it. Alabama was the first call. I'm sure there was a
cat was stuck up in a tree.
That's funny.
There's some kind of peeping Tom.
Somebody stole a pie off my windowsill.
I just saw that lady's ankles.
Yeah. Legit.
Hey, Howard's cows are out on the road again. It's causing problems.
There's a house full of floozies that just moved in. I think they're whores.
National Hockey League canceled their entire season. I remember that. Wasn't it like some kind of financial? I couldn't find like a report on it in the time frame that I had to put this together. But wasn't it some kind of weird financial thing with the
I think there was like some kind of strike, if I remember right, or something.
I don't remember that at all.
I can't say I remember it either.
I don't know. I know that.
Wait,
hockey
remember
team-
what? Say that again.
The where they stopped the season in 2003, 2000. Where is it at?
Oh yeah, I
2005.
think I remember that.
Yeah.
Why'd they do it?
When they came back, didn't they come back with like the NBC rules, and they changed where like the icing lines were? And...
Yes, yeah.
I know that they had issues and like other, like, this is the thing, America, this is what I love about America. We're great at everything. And when it comes to sports teams and sports entertainment, all our sports make money except for the WNBA.
This is true.
Everything else makes money, right? And like other countries don't know how to do that. Like in Europe, like all those quote unquote football teams or soccer teams or whatever, they mortgage their ticket sales. Like there's several of those like football teams that have gone bankrupt in England because they will mortgage 3 years of their ticket sales to get money to get one player, because they have this thing where if you lose, right, you get dropped down in the league, get dropped down to another like level or another league or whatever. But if you're in, you're winning top, so they try to hire all these top people, and most of those clubs are like they're making money on paper, but they're not making it. They're just losing money like left and right.
That's nuts.
It's insane. And then, but I mean, bankruptcy is also different in England than it is here. So, I mean, people are playing the rules.
Yeah, but I would have thought soccer was huge over there. So
it is huge.
Yeah.
But the thing is like, okay, so like, think about this. So you're a team. Let's say you're a team and you were like 1 or 2 losses away from being dropped down a league, and then you're going to lose money on all your concessions and everything else. So you mortgage your ticket sales for 3 years to get a top player that you need in whatever position, or a couple of top players in position.
Wow.
And then, whatever happens. But they have to compete, you know what I mean? Like, who knows? When you mortgage something for 3 years and you have a player to pay their salary, who knows what they're going to perform for 3 years? Like, anything could happen. Freak accidents could happen.
Injuries.
Especially with all the steroids and human growth hormone and all the issues that athletes end up having. Like, even if you look at like college level stuff.
What I think is retarded is the fact that we just haven't taken the time to do the research and science.
Yep.
Because and just learn what the actual parameters are for steroids, and just let people do steroids. Well, we figured it out. Let's just people are using them anyways. Let's just figure out what the safety is on it, and just go in the safety zone of it.
And that's the crazy part too, though, is because like you look at somebody like The Rock, who's obviously like just insanely.
Oh, every Hollywood guy that's over 30 that's done some major, massive work over of his body. Ben Affleck, fucking
Schwarzenegger.
Totally. Yeah. Stallone.
Rocky. Yeah.
I mean, Schwarzenegger. I mean, yeah, you gotta think that dude was almost perfectly sculpted. He was 6'something, like 245 pounds.
Well,
at his peak of 7 times.
Yeah, Rocky 3. Yeah, he was ridiculous.
Well, and when you take into account too, especially with Arnold, he was pumping that shit into his body in the 70s.
Yeah.
That shit they had in the 70s was hot.
That Nazi era shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's bad from World War II.
Well, I mean, he built his whole career off of his body. He got Conan because of his body. It wasn't because he was a good actor or could speak.
Hey, everybody, look out! wasn't because of his delivery. That's for
Terminator. He made like $16 million on Terminator, and he said 4 lines in the entire. It was like a $4 million per line movie.
His first movie, they had to hire somebody to dub over his talk. So they got a voice actor to go. That's awesome.
What movie was that?
I forget the name of it. We'll have to look it up.
No, Hercules in New York.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. In New York. That's right. It was.
He's in New York.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was terrible, terrible movie.
It is.
It's no good. Wasn't Franco Palumbo in that too?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe.
Another Italian bodybuilder, smaller class than Schwarzenegger. He used to work out with him.
It's a very very suspect film. Like there's a lot of
Pumping iron. Pumping iron is very sus. Every time I lift, it feels like I'm coming.
I know.
In the gym. It's just like I'm coming. Could you imagine Arnold using that kind of language in like 2022 in a document? You'd be canceled. Like you'd just be done.
That'd be awesome.
Surprised it's not coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, it's
well.
really
Look, there are certain people who have done enough in the woke sphere, that get passes. Like Howard Stern. Like Howard Stern should be canceled 20 times over by these modern rules. Howard Stern did blackface in the 90s. Get the fuck out of here,
dude.
And you watch that? It's bad. Like my God,
it's a full old school show. Like, I don't know how to use the words, but you know what I'm talking about.
It was bad for back then.
Yeah,
it was completely that. But that was the thing. In the 90s, everything was offensive. You remember when everything used to be offensive? The most offensive thing that you could say was the most popular thing.
Yeah,
I remember shirts. Like there were T-shirts. This is one T-shirt I pull up all the time that I remember when I was a kid, and I remember because I had plenty of friends that were of the same section or whatever, but that wore this T-shirt because people just weren't offended the same way in the 90s. But there was like a Tricks the Rabbit shirt, right? And it said "Silly faggots, dicks are for chicks" on it. That was in every record store I ever went to. I had 100 gay friends that all wore that shirt. like it was just like remember the McDonald's the marijuana McDonald's sign or whatever.
Totally.
It was like 1 billion stone. Like everything was like turned into something offensive, whether drug paraphernalia or sexuality or something else.
Yeah, I remember that.
That kid peeing that was on everything.
Yeah, the kid
peeing. Is just
Wasn't it Calvin?
Calvin, yeah.
It was. You're right. It is Calvin peeing. Yeah.
I wonder if the creator of Calvin Hobbes would appreciate the fact that his character has been like peeing on so many things for so many years. I wonder if it's peed on anything that he liked.
Probably has. I'm sure it has. Because I mean, like people have taken that and like put it on everything, literally everything.
I remember Black Simpsons t-shirt.
Oh my God! Yeah. Holy shit.
The Simpsons were colored black instead of yellow.
Oh.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. What's the black Simpsons shirts?
Like they were basically like
black versions of the
Simpsons, and like
I don't remember that at all.
Oh man,
I remember when the Simpsons came out in my school, we weren't allowed to wear Simpsons clothes.
Yep.
They banned it. My mom, you remember when they used to do this thing where your parents I don't know how many parents used to do this, but there used to be a thing where you did the iron on and like paint on like t-shirts and like sweatpants and stuff. My mom and my grandma made me like 3 pairs of fucking Simpsons sweatpants and sweatshirts, like with the fucking iron on and everything. And I went to Catholic school because my dad is a dick and made me go to Catholic school because he
because my dad.
It didn't even go. No. This motherfucker didn't even go to church on Sunday. He just made me go to church because he wanted to go to Catholic school because he was forced to go to Catholic school. So I went to Catholic school, and they were like, "No, you can't wear your Simpsons." I was like, "Why can't I wear my Simpsons stuff? My mom made this for me."
I remember.
And then South Park came out, and Simpsons were fine.
Yeah,
that's the truth.
I remember the Eat My Shorts shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah, Eat My Shorts was kind of controversial.
Like I remember a kid in school being forced to like flip his shirt inside out while we were in the class, like in the middle of our classroom, because like our teacher thought it was like too distracting. Just like,
I do remember that when you had to turn your t-shirts inside out.
Yeah.
You know what made me mad in high school is they did a bunch of banning of band t-shirts, but they would let all the fucking hit kids wear the fucking country band t-shirts. So if it was Garth Brooks, it was okay, but if you had like any other band on your t-shirt, they were like flipping out. Or one guy that I went to high school with was like a DJ guy, and he got into the early software versions of like DJ stuff, and one of them was called Acid or whatever. And he had like a T-shirt for the software company that said like, I use acid or something like that. And they the school made him turn it inside. He wouldn't let him wear the shirt. It's like,
thought it was a drug reference.
Yeah, it was just a drug reference. What I think is funny is how many people went to Dare and then like went to the store, went to Spencer's, bought a Dare T-shirt and like smoke a joint like while they're wearing that.
What do you mean bought a Dare t-shirt? I earned mine.
Oh, I earned my original. What I'm saying is like they've reprinted the stuff. It's come back out. It's cool again.
I still have my original like snapback hat from Dare from elementary school, and it was before it was like the black and red and white. It was when it was like double blue. It was like 2 different shades of blue. I'll have to find it.
Did you guys actually have like the going back with Dare where they'd have the guy with the dog sniff everyone's locker?
No, we had the guy come in. We had the whole thing. We also in my high school we had a massive drug bust when I was in high school. There was like they rolled up these kids. Oh man, they went through and swept the school. And they rolled up so many kids and they freaked them out that they fucking ruined like the drug trade. Like nobody could get weed in our county for like a year. So it was like so bad. The Dark County sheriffs just came in and just fucking cleaned out. Well, they rolled up the kids and they scared the fuck out of the kids, told them they were going to go to jail for 1,000,000 years, and they all rolled on the dealers to get out of going to jail for 1,000,000 years, and it just shut down everything.
So how many rolled on their parents?
It was a massive roll. It was a pretty big thing because what they did is they put like one of those they put a female undercover officer into the high school, and she was going to the parties, and she just got everything.
Wow.
She got the full download on every party, every drug dealing kit, like everything, and it just was like the most massive like bust because it was like an overnight thing. Once they got the information, they put everything together to do their case. They did one massive rollout bust and just fucking blanketed everything at one time. Snap, it was over. It was like just like that. Boom. Couldn't get weed in town anymore.
Was it like 21 Drum Street where everyone knew she was like an adult and everyone was weirded out, or no?
No. That's the thing is God. She was one of those. She was a young officer. She was like out, like just out, and you know, like. We had this issue in our high school too, where we had this teacher in my like senior year. She came in and she looked like a senior.
Wow.
She was like, she was just out of school, just college graduate, and like her first like week there. So many, you know how many like male students ended up in the principal's office because they hit on the teacher and they didn't know hitting on a teacher.
That's hilarious.
Like,
that was my high school psychology teacher. She was a Guess Jeans model while she was in college. And so she was like super pretty, super hot. Like she had to ward off a few of the boys. And maybe
you know what though? After the 90s, and we did an episode on the regular show that I do about like bad teachers. There was a thing there. There was like an epidemic there between the 90s and early 2000s where there was a series of screaming hot teachers sleeping with students. Like former NFL cheerleaders and stuff, like just insanity. Like women with these crazy professional jobs before they did whatever teaching, and then just a rash of them sleeping with their students.
It's bizarre, man.
Well, let's get to something more positive. Let's continue with the 17th. I think we're on
the 17th, yeah. In 1933, Blondie Bapadoop married Dagwood Bumstead in Chic Young's popular comic strip Blondie.
Is anyone familiar with Blondie? Or
yes,
no.
I'm familiar with Blondie. I didn't realize that was a last name though.
All right, so this was the cartoon. So I have the trailer for the cartoon, the opening. Let's check this out. Probably nobody remembers that at all.
I do.
I don't remember the cartoon.
Dagwood was Frank Welker.
I almost guarantee you 90% of people either remember the Blondie like comic strip or they know the Dagwood sandwich. because there's a lot of restaurants, especially in the Midwest, that serve a Dagwood sandwich.
Yeah.
I remember the Blondie comic strip.
Yeah, I guess it was the strip for me too.
I feel like Dagwood should have been on some jerky. You know how certain like cartoon characters became things like Andy Cap had the hot fries and stuff. I feel like Dagwood, we could have done more with him.
Probably, yeah.
Because it's an obscure sandwich. It's like you guys, like I just said Dagwood sandwich, and all of you were like, "What's that?"
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's not
I know what you're referring to because I've had discussions with people about Dagwood. Because in my area up in the Northeast, or maybe it's just my town because I don't know how far it goes, but I'm familiar with a Dagwood that's in a pita bread, and they're like, no, it's like a towering sandwich. I'm like, no. In my area, it's like in a pita bread.
In my area, it's a sub sandwich, and the Dagwood. The difference is like the sauce. I can't remember how to make the sauce now, but I used to work at a diner where we made the Dagwood sauce, and it was like a submarine kind of sandwich.
Wow. 24 Eyes, when you said we should have done more with him, your voice got quiet, and it sounded like it broke your heart. You're like, we should have done more with him.
We should have. It's a shame.
Snuggie, you're right. Everybody is Frank Welker.
Yeah, Frank Welker's awesome.
Yes, he is.
See, maybe that's what we need to do on Uncorked. Hey, man, beer's an Uncorked sandwich idea at some point, or maybe.
Yeah, but on Uncorked we only do sausages, so it's
Well, we can do a Dagwood sausage sandwich. We can prop it up.
All right, Snuggie, there's your homework.
Dagwood sandwich. Okay. The 15,000th 34th Volkswagen Beetle coming off the assembly line. The Volkswagen Beetle broke the world car production record for more than 4 decades held by Ford Motor Company's Model T, which was in production from 1908 to 1927. So 1972, I mean, that's like after war production, you know what I mean? Like Volkswagen wasn't even necessarily like in its... I think that's like a bullshit record. Like now we're in mechanization. We're post World War II. We're in the 70s, and like now you broke Ford's record.
Yeah, it's a little cheap.
Well, you gotta think you had the Depression, so parts were hard to come by, and like
we had World War II. That's what I'm saying. We got past World War II, and now you're just now finally catching up to us. Like,
in
that was just
1972.
That was just that one model of Ford. By the time 1972 happened, we were already deep into the 60s. Like by the time the 60s happened, the Ford already had like 60 or 70 different models that were pretty much modeled after the T-Bird that were affordable for families. Like,
well, we were deep into Vietnam by then too.
Yeah,
I'm all about things being new. Like there's not many things where I'm like, oh, old is better. But to me, cars, our new cars suck. Like I like the technology, but old cars are so much cooler, better, stronger. Like fucking tanks. Like,
they're safer. Like, look, if you've ever driven with a teenage woman, especially when she's learning how to drive, I'm tell you right now, you want to be in some 1970s steel as opposed to that 2022 plastic car, because that is some scary shit. I don't know who else has taught a female driver how to drive, but I have, and it was one of the scariest things that ever happened in my goddamn life.
My dad and I should have died, but it was because we were in an old car. We were using my grandfather's car because he was living with us because he had dementia. And this truck was going 90 miles per hour, took off the whole front of the car. But we were fine because that car was made like a fucking tank. So we should have died if it was like any other type of car.
It had the crush points and the impact bars, the safety features that you have to have now because cars aren't made out of steel anymore. They're made out of
that's right.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like I drive a small SUV, and I got rear-ended like a couple of years back, and then this is the last time I was in any kind of like car accident or anything. But the girl that rear-ended me was driving a fucking PT Cruiser, and my SUV was just high enough off the ground that her entire front end curled up on itself underneath the back end of my vehicle, totaling her car. Mine was fine, drivable. Needed like some brake work, but that's about it.
Oh my goodness. I'm like, okay. I'm like
That's crazy.
2009. I was it was like Veterans Day. I was going to GameStop and I was in the Marine Corps. I was going to GameStop to go buy like a video game, and on the way back, this lady pulled out in front of me on this highway. There's some stupid roads in California. And I was coming back into Oceanside. This lady pulled out in front of me. Like I'm on a highway thing, but there's like a red light, like weird thing where you can turn out. Well, she decides to turn on red, and I go right up on her. I'm driving an Outlander. My car is fucking total. She's driving like a Ford Explorer or something.
Oh man,
nothing, not a problem. You know what the worst part was? Is it wasn't her car. She didn't have a license, and there was kids in it that weren't buckled. And so, like, I was just like, it's like, all right, lady. I guess my insurance is paying for this one.
Oh, man.
But would you like to see a breakdown of a Volkswagen back in the day? I got another.
Neat, huh? It's the most advanced car on the road. All four wheels independently sprung. Torsion bar suspension, the greatest. The engine, air-cooled, so you never have to worry about boiling over or freezing. And it's in the rear for better traction. Stick shift, naturally. 4 forward gears. Bucket seats, well, what else? You can have it made up with a custom body like this for, $5,000-$6,000. Or you can have the same chassis with this slightly more familiar body for a lot less money. It's called a Volkswagen.
I wish they would show cars like that nowadays, dude.
That was so simple.
Yeah, it's funny how you can use like simple props, like a couple of models, to like sell a product like that, and it fucking work. Like that was great.
No boiling or freezing if it starts. This is true.
Hey, you might get lucky and it might transform.
But did you hear that though? Like you could have this body for $5,000 or $6,000, but like the rest of the car, I mean, like that was a 1950s thing. I remember from Popular Mechanics, you could buy like a Mustang or like Corvette or something for like $3,500, $5,000.
Yeah.
So if you went out, you were super balling, but you were only still paying another $1,000. You were only paying like $6,000 or $7,000 total for the car.
Yeah.
But that's a lot back then.
Yeah, it was a lot back then. Their money was worth 3 times as much as ours, and their gas prices were cheaper, and everything that they bought was cheaper. There was a point, like even when we were kids, I'm going to tell you right now, if you really think about it, even when we were kids, there's a point where your parents could hand you $1. Yeah. You could walk to the store and you could get several things and come back with change.
Yeah.
Give a kid $1 today and see what they come back with.
Yeah. Nothing.
You could easily get a can of soda for like 25 cents, if that, even smaller.
Candy.
Penny candy. There's penny candy. That was big when I was little.
Oh, yeah.
Bubblegum. You get 10 cent bubblegum.
Bubblegum.
Yeah.
Like the Lucy bubblegum cigarettes.
You might even be able to get like a pack of cards if they're on sale.
Yeah.
Like a baseball card.
That's true. Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Shit, those used to be a quarter.
I've actually, like, literally after I started looking through my finances and like assessing my retirement, all that kind of stuff like that, and then watching all this nostalgic stuff and seeing the prices on it, and then thinking about inflation, I'm really mad at my parent. Like, I'm just so mad at certain generations of people in this country because they ruined it for us.
They did.
Well,
they got it so much easier than us. Like, you know what it is? Like, today to be doing well like I am, how much work it is, and like my money's worth 2.5 times less than my parents' money was worth in the 90s, like almost like at this point.
True.
Gas was $1 a gallon. You know, like my parents used to freak out because they had to pay like $17 to fill a tank or something. Like I wish $17 would fill my tank. Like I wish that was the case.
Yeah, I've never had that. Yeah, you're right. I don't think I've ever had it less than 20 to fill a tank.
Yeah.
I remember when gas was like 65 cents a gallon.
Yeah, I remember that.
And cigarettes were like $3 a pack. Like that was only 20 years ago. That
Yeah,
wasn't
no, it's
long
insane.
ago.
The amount of inflation's insane. When we were in high school, it was under $1
Yeah.
to buy a 20-ounce soda
Yep.
from the machine. From the machine. I remember working as an adult out of high school, and it was 75 cents.
Dude,
and I remember when it went
yeah.
up to $1, and I remember when it went up to $1.25, and now it's almost $3 a fucking soda in my lifetime. That's insanity. Like we're not even like this is it's the amount of it's so astronomical, the amount of so to live today, right? And when you think about all the bills you pay and you think about how you take care of your kids and maybe even do a better job than your parents did, to think about how much easier they had it, it pisses me out. It makes me angry. It's like you were very wasteful. You're blowing money and having a good time, not worried about anything else or training a generation. This is what I think is funny is like if you meet people in their 30s and mid to late 40s, mid 30s to like late 40s, most of those people's parents, like their grandparents had retirements and all this kind of stuff to pass on, property, right? Your parents lived in a great economic time, nothing to pass on to you. If anything, they're passing debt onto you. They're going to die and leave you with money, like debt. Meanwhile, our generation's back up cleaning everything up for our kids to have a fucking future again. It's insanity, like what has been spoiled and wasted in this country and how great we've had, like the creative times. Creative times.
I think it is more businesses banks and businesses have done worse than actual just normal everyday people, honestly. Because when you see that stuff, like when you see how much raises they've gotten and things, it's your everyday, Bob and Joe don't have those impacts like those things do. So that's the biggest thing is the business world has.
No, I would like to, I really would like to talk to somebody that's a smart math person that maybe have a little bit of autism in their system that can sit there and crunch the numbers and figure this out. And like tell me, I want to know the difference between how much more expensive it is for me to live my life than it was for my parents to live theirs. Because I know it was drastic. I know it's drastic. I know it's ginormous.
It's different. It's different though with different things. Like there's things you're not thinking of that are ridiculously cheap now that weren't at that time. Like especially like our appliances and things are way cheaper. Huh?
Technology's cheaper.
Yeah, technology's very cheap. Yeah, like when you think of the things like everyone owns an air conditioner and TVs. Like there was stuff they didn't own, people have cars, like more than one car. My parents only had one car and they would have to share it. And so there are things like taxes are really bad. That's what kills us on the gas is taxes. So it's government and big business has really hurt us. And I don't know if we could ever change that.
Yeah.
We can. It'll take time. Or something else new will hapen. I don't know.
Well, a generation's going to kind of have to sacrifice for it, honestly, for it to change.
We did. Welcome. Murph, you're part of that generation. You're not. We are this generation. We are doing that for our kids. We're reestablishing the world for everybody. Yes.
This show was great, learning all this stuff, and now I'm fucking bummed. I need to see another YouTube of something crazy going on.
Okay, well, we got the Model T. We got one more day left.
And we're finally at the end of the week, but we're way late. All right, February 18th, 1885, Mark Twain's The Adventure of Huckleberry Finn was published for the first time.
I wanted to pull up something for this, but YouTube has blocked the majority of good Mark Twain Huckleberry Finn stuff because of the use of the N-word at the time frame in which the book was written.
Man.
I think it's stupid. I think that we need to understand history. We're just gonna forget it. We're not going to understand that this was how we colloquially talked to this point. We're not going to understand the progression of this country and how we moved forward.
Well, that's what they want.
Repeat it again.
That's what they're trying to teach us now, that there hasn't been progression.
Yeah.
It's worse. It's worse now than ever.
And it goes kind of hand in hand.
But see, you know what? This next one's going to cheer you up. That's a lot of negativity. Man, read this next one because I got a video clip for this next one.
Oh yeah.
In 1978, the first Ironman triathlon competition took place on the island of Oahu and is won by Gordon Holler.
Ironman. I found trying to find the exact because it's hard to. Goddamn videos. Where is my Iron Nun? Iron Nun. Continue to talk. I'll find it while you're talking.
All right. And in 2001, race car legend Ralph Dale Earnhardt was killed in a crash in the last lap of the Daytona 500. Richard Petty went on to win the race.
Well, we went on a downer. We went on a downer now. Damn.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's
like I said, that's the day of the South Side, okay? Like,
well, people who don't like NASCAR don't realize he was the Michael Jordan of NASCAR.
Right.
Like, so that's the thing. Like, he's it. Like, huge.
I actually remember watching that race with my at the time my half brother's dad was a huge Earnhardt fan. I remember watching that race.
Oh my god!
I remember what
I
happened.
got 8 years old, I think, or no, I was a little bit older than that. I was about 13, and yeah, that was like a huge deal at our house. It was just like a tragedy.
Yeah. Well, here we get to relive the moment right now.
The best thing that Mikey's got going for him is those two cars behind him. You got to pass two cars to get to him. I believe Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. both are doing all they can to help Michael make that happen.
Whoa! Look at Earnhardt. Sterling got into Earnhardt.
Dale is doing everything he can to keep Sterling behind him because Dale knows that Sterling's got a fast car. We're coming around for the white flag. You got him, Mikey. You got him, man. You got him. Come on, man. Come on, baby. Come on. Get him in the fold. Get him in the three cars. Oh!
Big trouble. Big wreck behind him.
Beat him back. Come on.
To the flag.
Come on, Mikey. You got it, man. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. Mikey! Yeah. Oh, my.
Michael Walsh wins.
Oh, man. This is great. I just hope Dale's okay. I guess he's all right, isn't he?
You okay? You okay?
Saw the crash and saw the cars sitting over there and saw the ambulances and everything, and it looked really dramatized and really dramatic looking, and it just looked odd.
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident in turn 4 at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
that was intense.
I'd never seen that. I can't believe I haven't seen that before. So,
I remember
did he die on impact, or what did happen?
Yeah.
He got I think kind of whacked around inside the vehicle like a ping pong ball.
Was it an accident or did?
Yeah, there was some kind of impact. Something happened where he gets hit. I remember it happening. I remember actually seeing it. I want to say it was on ABC Sports on a Sunday afternoon, and fucking A, man.
Yeah, it was crazy. Yep.
And it snapped his neck.
WJ Willow is pointing out how Waltrip won, not Earnhardt. I guess. I mean, not Petty.
Yeah, the hands device. They put that up so you can't snap your head like that. Your helmet will go up against the device now.
Because of that.
Yeah,
so that never happened before. No one ever broke their neck from a crash.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure they had.
Yeah, they have. If you look at old NASCAR before they had certain restrictor plates on the motors and stuff, cars could actually take flight. They would go so fast.
Fly up.
Wow.
But you know what? That's sad. That's a sad thing to remember. Let's go with something positive. How about some Iron Nun?
Madonna Buter, an 86-year-old nun. Oh, sorry, sister.
Sister Madonna Buter, 86 years old, goes for a morning run. Good for you, sister. She's still active at her age. That's great. Whoa, maybe a little too active. Nap time, sister?
I don't think so.
The sister doesn't think so. Okay. Wait, what? Iron Man? Oh, no. This is a bad idea, sister. A real bad idea.
Relax,
she's the Iron Nun. But she won't make it. This is an Iron Man.
The first 45 didn't kill me.
You've done 45 of these? Okay. Do your thing, sister. Do your thing.
That's awesome.
Isn't that not inspiring? That's pretty badass. I like a good nun story.
Was that
I don't feel like I need to go cry in a beer now. 24
I like a good nun story.
Was that Oscar Isaac?
You didn't like Sister Act growing up? Act like you didn't watch Sister Act, Murph. Come on.
I did.
That was one of the few things that Whoopi Goldberg that I remember is good about her.
I remember liking the second one too. So.
Yeah. Oh my god.
24. Do you know, was that Oscar Isaac that did that voiceover for that? Because it sounds like.
No, I literally found Iron Nun like when I was looking up stuff earlier when I was prepping things. I was like, Iron Nun.
Throw this.
Amazing. But we are late in the show. Now, typically, we would have done this 35 minutes ago. But this is the part of the show where we take a little break. Everybody can take a pee break if you're a guest on the panel. Everyone else, strap in, strap up, because we're about to hit the button on the Retro Time Machine. Retro Time Machine is going to be 5 to 6 minutes of some stuff that you may or may not remember, but it's nostalgic gold. So we're going to hit that button right about now. If everybody wants to go potty or whatnot, this is the time.
Go lick that button.
And with that, here we go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Fine. Yes, I'd love to. Thanks, Gene. I'll be there. 2 o'clock. Goodbye. You know, 3 weeks ago, I couldn't have accepted that invitation. Like so many people these days, we live in the suburbs, and Dave needs the car every day for business. When he was gone, I was practically a prisoner in my own home. I couldn't get out to see my friends, couldn't take part in PTA activities. I couldn't even shop when I wanted to. I had to wait till Thursday night after Dave brought the car home. But that's all changed now. 3 weeks ago, we bought another Ford, the new low-priced custom line Victoria. Isn't it stunning? Dave has it all to himself, and I now have the ranch wagon all to myself. It's a whole new way of life. Now I'm free to go anywhere, do anything, see anybody anytime I want to. It's only good common sense. Why be stuck with one expensive car when you can enjoy all the fun and freedom of 2 fine Fords?
Today, more and more families are finding out how easy it is to become 2 Ford families. You can choose from 20 different models, colors galore, and each available with Thunderbird power, with styling inspired by the famous Ford Thunderbird, and each with the extra protection of Ford's Lifeguard design. See your Ford dealer soon.
Now that you're here, my sweet little dear ones, I thank heaven for sending its angels to earth. My prayer for you all at the dawn of your lives is joy and laughter and dreams that come true. I love you.
Those nibbit some hamburger places serve are actually processed chicken.
Excuse me, but what was that in there? It's chicken. Chicken. Processed. Processed?
That's like when they take a lot of chickens and assemble the respective parts.
What parts?
What parts?
Different parts.
Parts is parts.
Wendy's chicken sandwiches, pure boneless breast of chicken, moist and perfect and not processed.
As I hear tell, all the parts are crammed into one big part.
Fused.
Yeah, then the one big part is cut up into little pieces parts. And parts is parts.
You want something better, you're Wendy's kind of people.
Clint, we've been on the picture now with you about 2 days, and I want to say, on behalf of the whole cast, Clint, I'm fed up. Gee whiz, Clint, you got all the lines, and you just let us stand around, but you've been a great host to us, really. And standing next to you, I get the feeling you're a building and I'm a bad Fiat car or something. But you're a marvelous guy. Let me ask you this, Clint. Do you feel in your part, the role of Kelly, have you given it some thought? Clint, over here, Clint, where are you?
What script are we talking about anyway?
How long have you had that problem, Clint? The picture of the Warriors, seriously speaking. I mean, basically, I read the script, and you read the script, and now that we've both read it, let's get on a plane and go home. Because I think it's bad. How long have you been in motion pictures? Clint?
Is this about an hour?
That's a good one.
About
Clint,
16 years.
Clint got off a ripper there, folks. We've been going through this for 3 or 4 days with these little rippers. About 16 years. If you don't know this, Clint started out in Rawhide. He was the one that kept saying, yaha, yaha. And a producer one day said, get the dumbbell that's yelling yaha. And they hired Clint. And then he went to Italy and did a movie where you paid the company, I believe, in lira. He did 5,000 pounds of dollars, hang them low and high and swing them left to your right. And then he did 2 Pounds of Glory and the other big picture for Aldo Bagarazzo, called Clint Eastwood Was in Heat for a Werewolf, which was a biggie. And then he met Brian Hutton, our 9-year-old director, who's not here today, unfortunately. He's over on the set telling his friends the parts they had. Well, Brian Hutton's a great director. He's the one that said to Richard Burton one afternoon, Richard! As Richard was driving away. But he's a wonderful director. We'd have him on now, folks, but this is bedtime. And he's not allowed to stay up late. Clint, it was so great talking with you. Once again, you've shown the folks what a big bang-up star you are. Don't forget, folks, when you see Clint Eastwood in your local drive-in theaters, drive right into the screen. Come on, Clint.
It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. It's a good time for the great taste. Gotta get a bite. Gotta get going to just one place. Got a McDonald's appetite. It's a good time for the great taste. It's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. Let's go!
Who else remembers those styrofoam containers? Those were my fucking favorite as a kid. Like it's burned into my memory. The original styrofoam containers. Fuck this stupid. We want to save the trees shit. Styrofoam containers was the best McDonald's. Did you see that heat that they just came with? Like, oh man. I love that 80s, 90s time, dude. That was like everyone was so pot. It was just like, let's do this. Like we're going out and this is an experience. McDonald's is an experience. Like everything was an experience. Fuck, what happened to that, dude?
Yeah, I wonder like how many McDonald's commercials there's been. Like, right? Like 80, 100? Like, think about it. Like they were on all the time.
I mean, I don't know how many commercials, if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? They'd have like 1 or 2 a year.
1 or 2?
Maybe 4. I don't know. I'm just
Do you remember when they would
do
like
more than that?
I don't. I just
when they would like give actually like good toys and you could buy like glasses and stuff. And
in 1984. They did this deal where like you could get like a free Big Mac for like every gold medal that America won, and we kicked ass in 1984 and caused a major financial issue for McDonald's with their little deal that they had with the Olympics.
Yeah,
it was so
that's
amazing.
awesome.
I do remember that.
Almost bankrupted McDonald's over an Olympic deal. That's how ass we were kicking in the 80s. But you know what? Okay, so we got some short time here. Now, we've been out of order. We don't, you know what? I mean, Amanda, do we really have an order at this point?
No, I think it's.
I don't think we do. I think it's out the window. I think that we just roll with the flow. I think we should get to the interview portion because we are an hour and 45 minutes into this situation, and we'll get talking about what you're cooking, Murph, while you're here, and what you've been doing, what you have been on a campaign, a whirlwind tour promoting.
Yeah, world tour. Yep, trying to promote as much as we can. Also making new relationships, which is actually pretty nice. And the interesting thing, not just buys in our book, but our YouTube's been going up with subscribers as we've been doing this as well. So it's very nice doing it. It's so it's been really fun. Yeah. So you want to know the pitch? Do you want to play the trailer?
Yes, sir. Let's get a pitch, and we can definitely play a trailer too.
Okay, so this is our history. Ballad of the Celestials is on Earth before the flood. It's one continent. They weren't broken up until the flood came. So you basically have all the mythology, all of our ancient history happening here before that time. Mythology, a lot of them, whatever region it is from, they have a lot of similarities, whether it be like beasts or giants or just a bunch of different things. And so I'm going to take those things and try to make it all make sense and even cover things like the wonders of the world, like the pyramids and the Great Wall of China and why they still stand even though that they were before the flood. And again, it's mythology kind of mixed with fantasy. So if you like Lord of the Rings, you should like it. Derek loved Conan, so you kind of get that as well. So, this story, since it's before the flood, we can pretty much have any civilization we want. We're going to have Atlantis in it, but in our first comic here, it's the first act of a 3-act. So it's 3 books. So your first act, like a movie, tons of action in it, tons of information coming your way, but it's not boring. So where we meet here, our heroes, is generations ago, there was a big war, this evil that was trying to take over the earth, and kind of all the cultures and tribes and kingdoms of men had to get together and defeat this force for survival. And our main character in this story, Mare, his grandparents were a part of that. And so he's been currently going through different kingdoms and cultures, trying to get rid of any little remnant from, that evil force that was there. And that's where we pick up our 5 heroes. Heroes are kind of doing what Mare would like to do, is getting rid of that. A revelation comes to them that kind of changes what they're doing. It leads them going to Mare's home, and while Mare is getting there, he kind of intercepts this other evil force that's not with the overarching thing. It's a group of people that don't believe humans should be living in castles or houses, that we should be living like animals in the woods and in the forest. So they're just trying to destroy everything, and he kind of gets there in time to help out. And there's kind of another evil thing that's behind Mare and his group as well. So it's a lot of just picking up a lot of different things going on. So if you like mythology, beasts, wars, your one-on-one battles, a lot of things with weapons, and because it's before the flood, we do have a little bit more technology that I could get into after you play the trailer.
Let's do that.
Before the ancient flood, continents are connected, mankind is divided, and the Celestials are perched in wait. Because of this, an evil force arises to conquer the earth. Mare and his small group of warriors encounter this evil and are thrust into a crisis that will disrupt the fate of humanity.
Yes. So there's our trailer. In our trailer, we kind of have all of our 3 covers. Whenever we do a cover, we want to make sure it's an actual scene.
You guys got a killer price. One thing you need to discuss right now, like if you're a if you're a CG fan and you're a CG backer and you generally just like to like back, you need to hit this book up because this book actually looks really good. It's very interesting looking from the pitch, but it's also like a killer price. This is like one of the like an easy purchase. This is an easy purchase.
Yeah, thank you. We've honestly just listened to everybody. What everyone's told us kind of do. Like we had ideas to have more things to sell and do, but everyone was kind of keep it simple.
Anytime I can spend less than $25 and like shipping and everything's included on a book, I'm in. On a career, you know.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a digital tier as well, because shipping is so high and you know, we're 30 pages, so we were worried that people would not want to pay that type of shipping. So we do have that as an option. And everyone's getting the digital copy. So when it gets released, it's not like the people with digital can read it before the people with the physical copies.
Is this your first book, or have you done books before, or?
So this is the first comic book I've ever done. I actually, after I saw the Lord of the Rings movies in the early 2000s, I started writing novels of kind of like my own world. And because before Lord of the Rings, I liked mythology. Like, I loved Odysseus, and, you know, Hercules was really cool. And then when Lord of the Rings came out, that movie was just magnificent. And when it came out, I actually looked for more stuff like it. Like, I did find the Game of Thrones books, but they were a heavy read, like a lot of characters, a lot of information. And I wanted to, you know, kind of get comic books, and I couldn't find anything that it was, but it was easier for me to write a novel. And then when I met Derek is really when it came to changing it into a comic book, which is a completely different way that you write. And so there was a lot of learning with it. A lot of changing.
How was that for you? I mean, like, I don't know what kind of novel writer you are, but I know that like a lot of novels are very descriptive, so you have all this stuff. Whereas a comic book, it's very more dialogue. It's very much dialogue, and everything else is like implicated in the pictures.
Which is great for me because I hated writing detailing things. I didn't enjoy that. I enjoyed the emotions with individuals.
Comes in on sunrise, dude sitting on a treetop.
Yeah, I really didn't enjoy that. And that was, you know, I had about 10 to 12 books and probably was written like 80% in each of them. So I probably would have never got it done or ever sold it. Derek just loved the story so much. Who the Celestials are, what they do.
So is this
really
one story, or is this a story that you mold over in different like iterations over the years? Is it like, because I feel like the way you guys talk about this has kind of been like a process that you kind of like pressure cooked and like molded over time, kind of like that.
So I'd say the basis of it goes into kind of the 20 years of stuff, especially the world building. But I changed a lot of things because of Derek's input. Like, for instance, with the novels, I actually did have kind of a couple chapters just describing how the world used to be and like the history with his grandfathers and their friends, and would go back to it. And Derek was like, you know, we can leave that down for later for things, make things more of like a mystery. So you're really jumping into things rather than being fully set up. And what I'm doing different with the comics is, like I said, 3 comics are supposed to be like its own movie, like each part of a movie, each act. And so then I want to take each of those 3 to be like a trilogy. So 1 through 3, 4 through 6, and 7 through 9. And then the 10th is going to be like an annual that kind of wraps them all up in one. So 1 through 10 is its own story, 11 through 20 is its own, 21 through 30, because we do have a lot of material to write, and so it'll either be about regions.
Here's my question: if you're releasing like the 32-page books and stuff, is there a possibility we might see you like on an alternative rack at some point in the future? I mean, is that something you might like consider, like some floppies on breakdowns of the stories if you're gonna do it long term?
Yeah, we're gonna kind of just see how people take it, and we'll listen to everyone and see. We have a friend that's always kind of give us input, and he has this own story he's been thinking about in the world because he knows a lot more of stuff than we're letting out right now.
He's kind of wants in the inner circle.
Yeah, and he wants to kind of write an ash can about this creature that he made up that can do some pretty cool things. So we might do things like that, have little ash cans to help. It really depends.
I have one question, sir. Do you have the proper warnings before your book? Did you allow people to know that there might be different races identified in several different ways, and that there might be some ableist material?
No,
I'm sorry. D&D has got me. I'm an old school D&D fan, and all the shit that's going on with this stuff has just been driving me nuts lately.
Sure, I understand that, but this is in the beginning. So just like China is full of people that are Chinese. I mean, most of these kingdoms or tribes they're just one race, but because they're closer because of it, you're going to have a lot of that. You're going to have races that are close, races that hate each other, races that stay away from each other, and it's all important.
LRT, like a token. So I want to get people to understand this. I guess I'm doing the cheat code because I've seen you on other interviews. So
sure, yeah.
People may not have seen you, but the thing is that you've taken time to develop a world, create a world, and create distinct races and in settings and situations so that like a Tolkien kind of situation, you can definitively understand what everything is easily. You can determine it, and from that point forward, you will always know, like, boom, it's just everything's identifiable, everything is parsed out, and it's a fully created backed world.
Yeah, and I want people to know the rules when it comes to certain things. Like, we will have magic or supernatural things in it. Not a lot, but there's a price. You'll always see the price. And when the Celestials come in, they have rules and things, and things will change with the rules. Because I always hate when I'm getting taken out of movies, and I love the MCU, but after Avengers, when Iron Man would get in trouble, I was always like, well, why doesn't he just call Thor?
Yeah.
So I want there to be rules where people are like, well, why don't they just get this or that to make it to where this person is in a really bad situation? And there's
you want them to definitively be in a bad situation. There's no out, there's no question, there's no nothing.
Yeah. And so what I'd say, like you said, this world is worked out, and then the Celestials, as they come in, it's almost like double the world. Like it's not like an add-on or an expansion of a video game. It's like almost like the sequel. It's doubling up everything, how that happens, and there's evolutions to them and their characters as well as the people we cover as well. So there's a lot. We really do have a lot. We're hoping, with just the financial part, is we could actually get more illustrators than just Derek, so we can turn it out a lot quicker.
Sure, a little faster.
Yeah.
Well,
for those that aren't following, Derek is the gentleman that unfortunately had to leave. So we have Murph, who is the writer, and Derek, who is the illustrator, and then there is a colorist, which his name is
Dijo Lima.
Okay. And then for those that were watching the trailer, Derek is the one that did the voice in the trailer.
Yes.
And then his band played the music. And we do
Yes.
have the links in the description
Yes.
for at least Derek's.
Everything's going to be
Twitter.
edited by the time that this thing is processed and published and the chat is available live. You will have all the links available in the chat. Now, 99.9% of the links are available, but
right now, yeah,
we're an evolutionary chain. When everything's we allow things to happen, we allow things to get hot. I mean, we had to let Lola Meets on, we had to let Nick on, we had to have Murph come on. We didn't know Murph was going to be here. I was hoping he was going to be here. We didn't know he was going to be here.
I was on another show, and I just didn't know how long that would go, and so it worked out perfect.
Great.
And that's how it works.
And I mean, you guys are getting the better half of the team, so it works out for your show as well.
Do you think Derek's watching the replay or listening right now?
No,
that's
he had to do something. Yeah, he had to do something, so he can't. Oh boy, will he? I don't know. That's a good question. No, he will. He will, because he'll want to see if I say
Make sure
anything
you
wrong.
represented well.
Well, it's interesting because we both know so much, and there's certain stuff we definitely don't want to give away.
Right.
Like, it's really good stuff that I think makes it even better. But I feel from a story-wise, and he does too, it's way better to let those things kind of come as they may, just because you don't want
I'm
to cut
just
off
telling
other
you,
things.
you need to be ready. If it's a good story, look, if you're super confident it's a good story, then you need to be ready to produce another book. Because if you pull what Joe Capitano pulled on me and give me a book where I'm like super cliffhanger and I know I'm gonna have to wait another year, I'm gonna want to punch you in the face, sir.
He's killing stuff for book 2.
Well, I told you it's the first act. Your second act, usually things change. So there might be 1, 2, or maybe even 3 cliffhangers at the end of this first book. So
that's fine. How long am I hanging on the cliff is the question.
We're honestly, like, again,
I mean, because some books are so good they make you angry. They make you angry because you know how long you have to wait to get the next part of the book, the story.
Yeah, it should be a year. Hopefully, we can make it quicker than that. But again, like the story's done. Honestly, if we had the money, we could turn out, I think, like easily 100.
Well, you heard that, folks. You heard
comics.
it here. If you like this book, it's in the description. You can check out that Indiegogo. You just saw the trailer. You can check it out again. You can say, "Hey, I like these guys. Maybe I'm going to support them." Come on, ladies, show a little bit of love to these beautiful gentlemen that come up on this panel to entertain you every day.
But even though I have the scripts, it is because we kind of wrote this differently. Like at first, I gave Dirk the script and was like, "Go," and then he would do stuff, and I'd look it over and be like, "Nah, that's not what I was talking about." Not saying that really happened. It did go really well, but then for some reason we sat down for a couple pages, and like after he read my script, and we would kind of do it live together, and that worked really well, like a lot better. So even though everything's written, when you get it down on paper, there are times where you have to change stuff because you could think, "Man, this is going to look awesome," and you have it on paper, and it's like, "Nope, sucks. It's not working well timing wise."
You remember that idea you spent 3 hours thinking up? Garbage. It's trash.
No, seriously. Well, our logo, we went through like 4 or 5 logos, and we would have like it set for 6 months.
Was it like one person thought it was good and the other person didn't like it, or was it like you did something and then you're like, you both were like, it's not right. It's just not.
It would
there.
usually be like we always go by this principle of McFarlane of if it's sexy or cool, we're keeping it. Every logo we had, I do think was sexy and cool. We never were like, this is terrible. It just kind of was always like, it's just not right. It's just not working. It's cool. The one logo we had for a long time is kind of this logo, but more shaped in like a circle, and it just doesn't work on covers. You need that length. So we'll probably still use that logo on different things down the road. But again, there are certain logos that just don't work on a comic book cover.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of feeling it. I think creating things kind of just like music. There's a feel to it that it's good or it's not without even explaining it.
We are 2 hours deep. Let me do a panel check. Miss Amanda B, are you good for another like 10, 15 minutes, ma'am?
Yeah, we might want to move the movies though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what I was at. Miss Lola, are you good?
I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Next, Thomas. Murph, are you good for a few more minutes?
Oh yes, I'm very good.
All right. One thing, like we are gonna cut out the babes and bros this week because we just don't have proper time to vote, and the babes and bros that picked Ask Man to be there perfect, but we needed to do that at the top. But what we do have time for is the movie reviews. And this week, I am stoked about it because these are some of the harshest reviewed movies that I love. This is the oh God, I love these movies, but God damn, did Roger Ebert just fucking pound on these ones. So with that, let's share this window here. I got multiple.
Bum now, 24 Eyes. I was hoping for the babes and bros.
I know, but look, we got to talk about Dirty Dancing. Dirty Dancing, a 1-star review.
1 star?
1 star, August 21st, 1987 was when this review was written. 1 star for Dirty Dancing. Roger Ebert, top of the food chain on movie reviewers.
Wowza.
See what he has to say.
Am I reading or you?
You are, ma'am.
All right. Well, you got to hand it to Dirty Dancing for one thing, at least. It's got a great title. The title and the ad seems to promise a guided tour into the anarchic practices of Trammeled Teenage Lust. Sorry, I'm reading it like small on my laptop. All right. Teenage Lust. But the movie turns out to be tired and relentlessly predictable story of love between kids from different backgrounds. The movie takes place at a resort hotel that I guess is supposed to be in the Catskills. The hotel is run by Jack Weston, who wants to play matchmaker for his obnoxious son. When the Houseman family checks in, he immediately introduces his brat to baby Houseman, Jennifer Grey, the daughter of Dr. Houseman, if you get the point. Baby doesn't like the brat, and she finds herself bored by the old people at the hotel. But from the dormitory out back, she hears the incessant beat of rock and roll, and when she sneaks a peek inside, she finds the hotel staff engaged in an orgiastic dance sequence.
That's a funny word. Or gaintastic? Or gaintat?
Orgiastic. Like the worst review of that movie I've ever heard.
We use this word sequence advisedly. The actors playing the staff in this movie are such good dancers, and their dancing is so over choreographed that there is no question these are just ordinary kids who dance pretty well. Nope, it's pretty clear they're in a movie.
That's good. That's good.
Baby falls in love with the best looking dancer, a handsome jock named Johnny Castle, Patrick Swayze, who dances professionally in the hotel show. At first, he doesn't pay her much attention, but then he kind of starts to like the kid, like in millions of other movies. Meanwhile, a waiter impregnates Swayze's partner, and when there's an emergency, Baby asks her father to help out. Her father, Jerry Orbach, assumes that Swayze was the father of the child, and so he is violently opposed to any romance between his baby and this greasy jerk. Of course, Swayze is not the father. There is no reason for Orbach to think so, except for the requirements of the movie's idiot plot, which obligates everyone to say exactly the wrong thing at the wrong time in order to protect the idiocy of his mistake. Meanwhile, the sick girl cannot dance in a big show at the nearby hotel, so Gray volunteers to take her place, and after some doubt, Swayze becomes her dance coach.
Yeah, he coached her.
Can you figure out the rest of the plot? What is your best guess? Does Gray turn out to be a great dancer? Does Swayze fall in love with her? Do they dance together in front of everybody while her father fumes and her mother keeps a cool head? And then does Orbach finally realize his mistake and accept the kid as his daughter's boyfriend? Are there stars in the sky? The movie makes some kind of half-hearted attempt to rip off West Side Story by making the girl Jewish and the boy Italian. Or Irish, I forget.
Good grief.
It's like, hey, it doesn't matter. Hey, I'm not either one of these things, so whatever. Trash. You're trash. You're Italians and you're Irish. Like, whatever.
What's the difference? We ain't.
Yeah, same thing.
It doesn't much matter since the movie itself never ever uses the word Jewish, or says out loud what obviously is the main point of the plot, the family's opposition to a Gentile boyfriend of low social status. I guess people who care about such things are supposed to be able to read between the lines, and the great unwashed masses of American moviegoers are condemned to think the old man doesn't like Swayze's dirty dancing.
Duh.
This might have been a decent movie if it had allowed itself to be about anything. The performances are good, Swayze is a great dancer, and Gray, who is appealing, is also a great dancer. But the filmmakers rely so heavily on cliches, on stock characters in old situations, that it's as if they never really had any confidence in their performers. This movie could have been about the subjects if Pussyfoot's around so coyly. It could have found a big scene a little more original than the heroine stepping in for the injured star. It could have made the obnoxious owner's son less of a one-dimensional SOB, but the movie plays like one long, sad compromise. It places packaging ahead of ambition. Where did I get that idea? I don't know. Maybe from the title.
I hate this.
That was the original review. That was this is just like Rotten Tomatoes, but this is before that existed, right? This is the new. This is what you read in 1987 in August when this movie came out. This is the
Even
review.
was like the worst reviewer though of films.
He's so popular though.
Yeah,
You
but
can
that's
say that about
Well-
any movie genre.
Okay,
Like you watch
so-
a horror movie. Oh, they're gonna kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's.
Okay, would you guys like to watch the trailer and maybe we could cleanse our palate?
Sure.
Definitely.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me?
The heat is in the music. The music sets you dancing.
Every place we go.
The dancing sets her free. Best Strong Pictures presents Dirty Dancing. She thought it would be just another summer vacation.
Who's that? Oh, them. They're the dance people.
But it turns out to be the time of her life.
I can't even do the merengue.
He teaches her what she can do.
I'm not sure who you are, but I don't want you to have anything to do with those people again.
Baby, I don't see you running up to Daddy telling him I'm your guy.
Will, with my father, it's complicated. I will tell him.
I don't believe you, baby.
She shows him all he can be.
You gotta stop it now.
I know what I'm doing, Penny.
I'm scared of everything. Most of all, I'm scared of walking out of this room and never feeling the rest of my whole life the way I feel when I'm with you.
What they learn from each other feels too good to be wrong. Dirty Dancing, starring Patrick Swayze, Jennifer Grey, and Cynthia Rhodes. Get ready for the time of your life.
I'm ready for the time of my life. Like Hollywood was good at their job back in the day. I'm telling you, like they wholesale. I was sold on that right there. You just heard the review. We read the review, and then you saw that. Like, come on, what's the difference? Like,
I remember watching Dirty Dancing many, many, many times in my youth, and I would always, focus on the very end of the movie where they're all like dancing and he comes to get her, and I don't know, I've always loved the movie. I don't understand what's up with Roger Ebert's butt, but hey.
Well, he rated the next movie, which is one of my personal favorites growing up. Stop, or my mom will shoot. This is like the brilliance that is Stallone. Half a star. He got half a star.
I love a spaghetti.
You do realize that when Stallone is asked if there was ever a movie that he wished he didn't do, he says this one, right?
Oh well, he's out of all the movies that he's done. I mean, this. Did you know he did a movie where he was a soccer player as a POW in World War II with Pele? It's called
Really?
Victory. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever.
He wrote it too. Yeah. So out of all the things you regret, like people don't even remember your Pele movie, motherfucker. How about stopping my mama shoot with a good fucking cool crazy lady? Oh.
But this is a different movie than Dirty Dancing. Like, even the points he had, okay, but they pulled off a lot of stuff. Like, the cinematography is okay, but how they dance and everything is so well done. Their chemistry is so well done. Even the music.
No, I
alone.
believed it. Right? No, it tricked you. It was the suspension of disbelief. Right?
No,
like Roger Ebert's just a smart mark, right? He's just out here like criticizing everything.
Yep.
But the truth of the reality is that you suspended disbelief. You believed that he taught her to dance like this, and that they were in this love story, and that even though it seemed societal wrong, like you're just like, no, this love has to it has to exist. That's what it brought out of you.
Ebert's more of a Wade Keller. He's not a Dave Meltzer. He's not even a Frightful. Or Fightful, or whatever.
Little did he know, nobody puts baby in the corner.
Right?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Oh, and with that, Miss Menby, can you please tell us about
Stop, or my mom will shoot is one of those movies so dim-witted, so utterly lacking in even the smallest morsel of redeeming value that you stare at the screen in stunned disbelief. Well, that sounds out lovely. It is a moronic beyond comprehension, an exercise in desperation during which even Sylvester Stallone, a repository of self-confidence, seems to be disheartened. The film stars Stallone as a big city cop. The city may be Los Angeles, but this is the kind of film where it's hard to be sure. He is a bachelor who had just broken up with his lieutenant, Joe Beth Williams, and now his mother has decided to fly out to visit him. She is played by Estelle Getty of TV's Golden Girls.
Exactly. There's a Golden Girls. Stallone and Golden Girls. How the fuck do you not love this movie, Nostalgia Bomb?
As a pint-sized little dynamo who has apparently spent the entire flight showing everybody on the plane Stallone's baby pictures. The movie then develops into a no-brainer about some stolen guns and insurance fraud, with Getty following Stallone everywhere he goes, wandering wide-eyed into the center of the action. Allegedly humorous seems elude in one in which Stallone is trying to talk a would-be suicide down from a window ledge, and his mother grabs a pipe or a police bullhorn and gives Sly such a hard time that the suicide has mercy on him and decides not to jump. Then there's a scene where she helpfully washes his service revolver in detergent, and one where she steps into the middle of a shootout and is the only witness to the crime. There isn't a laugh in this movie. Not a single one.
Wow.
And believe me, I was looking. The situation isn't funny, the characters aren't funny, and the dialogue's idea of humor is lots of close-ups of sweet little Estelle Getty using naughty words. The domineering mother is not one of my favorite comic characters.
Well, maybe you just got a shitty mom.
Yeah, but stop or my mom will shoot loses its nerve and doesn't make Getty half as bad as she could have been, or Stallone nearly the milquetoast his character should really be. What we get instead of is it milquetoast? There's a QE.
Yeah,
all right.
Milquetoast.
What we get instead of personalities and comic characters are two stick figures plugged into a series of unfunny, unoriginal situations that seem taken right off the shelf. Look at the suicide scene, for example. Countless cops have shared high ledges with countless suicides in the movies, sometimes for dramatic purposes, sometimes for comic, sometimes, as in Mel Gibson's great Lethal Weapon scene, for both.
Yeah.
The ledge scene in Stop is the most unwound, phoned-in, contrived version of this situation I have ever seen. There is no spark at all. Scrutinizing the credits of the movie, I find it runs only 87 minutes despite having 3 writers and 3 producers. Such statistics are hints of desperation. Stallone is a capable comic actor. See his underrated Oscar. And Estelle Getty, of course, can be funny and charming. Here they seem trapped in every actor's nightmare, a movie that was filmed before it was written.
Ooh.
Okay, so that was scathing. I'm floored. How could you just how dare you, sir?
It's not a good movie, but it's funny. Like it's
No. You watch this trailer and you tell me this is not. How dare you, sir? Especially in 2022. How dare you?
We'll talk about it over breakfast.
Mom, I want to discuss it. I'm serious.
What did I always tell you? Breakfast is a big boy's most important meal of the day. Now start on these Cocoa Puffs, and I'll scramble you some eggs.
I don't like eggs.
If you don't eat them for breakfast, they'll be here waiting for you at dinner. Bye-bye, sweetie. Have a nice day at work. Oh, Joey, you forgot your lunch.
There you go. Hangover?
Heartburn.
What'd you eat for breakfast?
Juice, fruit, milk, eggs, bacon, and sausage, hash browns, toast, pancakes, honey rolls, Cocoa Puffs. There's more.
Damn. You must have been starving.
I wasn't hungry, Tony. My mother's visiting.
Wow. Well, when your mama cooks, she cooks. Mind you, breakfast is supposed to be the most important meal of the day.
Thank you, Tony.
Am I getting copyright struck? Was I getting, or was I just having shitty internet connection? Put a one in the chat if you can still see us.
Oh, no. I'm watching YouTube and we're struck.
We're struck.
Oh, no.
Remember, my mom will shoot. Pause us temporarily. Wow! Oh, should have checked that one on the copyright before. Ooh. Spicy movie reviews.
Wowza.
I think it was shortly after we did it too, because I didn't realize it said stream unavailable as I was Googling something else.
Dude. I'm gonna view this on YouTube right now and see if we're live yet again. Oh no, it's suspended. No,
Stream unavailable.
Wow.
Aww.
Was it because it wasn't like a trailer and it was actual like scenes?
That was a trailer. That was the trailer. That was the old trailer.
Wow.
Because you like heard a long music though. I didn't know if that was, you know, the scene had its own music.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm sure. Well, let's see. Let me look at my YouTube account. Let's go to the
Why
studio.
does it say we're still alive though?
I think the StreamYard's still recording.
StreamYards is still recording. I mean, it can pop back up. It might pop back up.
It should.
Trying to see what is the situation with it.
So what happens when this goes back on YouTube for the scene you got struck? Does
It'll
it
just
skip it?
black it out. It'll just skip it. We'll just have like a, like.
But it should go.
Have to do it, or
it's back.
do they
It's
do it?
live.
Oh yeah, we're back.
Oh, we are back. So, I get. You know what? Maybe after this, I do agree with Roger Ebert. Maybe I do because, God damn it, how did I know that? Out of all the movies trailer, like I showed some shit from Disney from like the 1930s, their most popular properties. Didn't take down, like, black out my channel, but I stop where your mom will shoot, and all of a sudden, your mom's all
Stallone and
angry.
Getty combo.
It's Stallone. It's Stallone. He'll get you.
God. Okay. Well, one final movie. Maybe Liam Neeson's the kind of man that will not give us this kind of issue.
2.5 stars.
Yes. 2.5 stars for Taken.
Oh,
that was such a good movie.
That is terrible.
What?
No,
I'll
not the
fight
movie.
you.
Not the movie. No, the score.
What?
That they gave it 2.5. It's a good movie. I understand like taking 2 or 3 because that's
January
just
28th, 2009. 2.5 stars. 96 hours to save his daughter from a fate worse than death.
Dun, dun, dun. If CIA agents in general were as skilled as Brian Mills in particular, Osama bin Laden would have been an American prisoner since late September 2001. Taken shows Mills as a one-man rescue squad, a mastery of every skill, a laser-eyed, sharpshooting, pursuit-driving, pocket-picking, impersonating, knife-fighting, torturing, karate-fighting killing machine who can cleverly turn over a petrol tank with one pass in his car and strategically ignite it with another.
Now you know Amanda B's dating standards.
Yes. Anyways, we meet Mills, Liam Neeson, in sort of retirement in Los Angeles. grilling steaks with an old CIA buddies and yearning to spend more time with his 17-year-old daughter, Kim, Maggie Grace. Kim now lives with her mom, Mill's ex-wife, Famke Johnson, and her effortlessly mega-rich husband, Xander Berkeley, whose idea of a birthday present is giving Kim not a pony, but what looks like a thoroughbred.
What?
Yeah.
She got a horse?
A horse?
Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that didn't mean something else.
It did mean double talk. Yeah. I'm tracking.
Mills has seen action in Afghanistan and apparently everywhere else, and knows it is a dangerous world for a naive teenage girl. He is against Kim spending the summer in Paris with her girlfriend, even though cousins will apparently chaperone. He's right. Kim and her pal succeed in getting themselves kidnapped the afternoon of the same day they get off the plane, although Kim has time for one terrified phone call to Dad before she is taken away. Now listen to this. Using CIA contacts at Langley, Mills is able to use his garbled tape of their conversation to determine the name of the girl's kidnapper, Marco, that he's Albanian, that his ring kidnaps young tourists, drugs them, and runs them as prostitutes. The virgins are auctioned off to Arab sheiks, and so on. Headquarters also tells Mills he has 96 hours to rescue his daughter before she meets a fate worse than death, followed by death.
All believable.
Sad thing is that this actually exists in 2022. You want to talk about slavery and whatnot? It's happening. It's happening.
Right.
It's all the Instagram models. That's what happens. They go over.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, because it's real easy. Hey, girl. I'll fly you out to whatever exotic country you find. Blah 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 blah. Here's 5,000 of your PayPal. Boom. Done.
Yeah.
You know. And then they're just flown out there, and then they just disappear into Akabekabas. Fucking.
All 12 of my sons are gonna shit on you, and then they're gonna have sex with you.
Yeah.
You know, the whole movie, though, when I watched this the first time, I'm like, she's gonna be raped like 9 times before he finds her.
Before he dude, what is it with like the heroes not saving the person in time now? Why did Rambo have to end with the girl dying when he was bringing her across the line? Like, what is this thing in the modern era where the heroes can't just be heroes? Like, what the?
Yeah.
Well, they did that. I was surprised at the end that she didn't. That she was still fine, because I was even thinking, how are they going to end this movie and it not be like tragic? But I mean, I felt like they did a good job with it, explaining why she didn't.
Well, didn't the friend?
Well, the friend did because she wasn't a virgin, but his daughter was a virgin, so she wasn't touched. I can see that making sense.
I mean, no matter what, even if you like this is the sad like if you did the taken thing and you rescued your daughter and you found her in the drug state, at that point she's already done. Like I don't know how much saving you're doing.
Right.
The OD might be better. I don't know how you recover from being heroin induced and sexually tortured for days on end, for months on end.
It's so weird the way they set a lot of that up for movies and stuff like that, because it's
kind of like what they do in real life with their island, Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like they try to turn it into this horrific image, but the truth is they're just like, well, it's not really like that. It's actually everybody's really cool about it.
Yeah, everybody's really, Bill Clinton just is wearing a dress and he getting done.
Yep. But, that guy? Nah, he's just a weirdo that likes to wear dresses.
I'm surprised there's no James Bond association. Like, Ebert loves James Bond, and he loves to mix match characters to James Bond. And I thought there would be some kind of dirty version of James Bond or something, but no comparisons to James Bond so far in this.
Maybe that's where the half star came from. That he was kind of reminded of it, but not enough to state it.
Even if you hate the movie, that line he has in this movie is so iconic. When he talks to him over the phone with about the skills he has.
I have a particular system. I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah.
That's pretty dominant. I like that. And he did. It's fair enough. He did.
Yeah.
He did find him and did kill him.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, it's really weird how Liam Neeson has kind of a broad career. Like
He was Darkman. Do you guys remember when he was Darkman and nobody
yeah.
liked Darkman movie? I love the Darkman
I
movies.
love Darkman. I used to rent the fuck out of that tape and watch the shit out of it.
That was a good movie.
Did you rewind it though?
Yeah, were you?
I had to rewind it because I'd watch it like back to back. I was one of those who just like love a movie and just like put it on.
Man, remember
Put it on
when
again.
porn movies were on VHS and if you found one of your parents, you had to like get it back to the right spot that they had.
Remember? Yep.
You're like,
Thank God for streaming services these days, right?
well, no, because you know what? I would rather my kid like, I don't know what kind of weird fucking crazy shit that they can find on the internet nowadays, as opposed to like, if I had a porn collection, you could only find my deviancy. You didn't find the entire world's deviancy. Like,
right.
You know, if your parents were halfway normal, you were all right. But if they were kind of kinky, you might get a little fucked up. I don't know.
Yeah, like I get
No
really
comment.
worried about like what I mean. Like, think about like the little ones hearing, you know, just some fucking actor or musician talk about whatever, you know.
They don't. They just go on YouTube and then watch Ella dance around with Spider-Man and do inappropriate things. There's like that popped up and
yeah.
There's so much weird shit in the world now.
There really
What?
is.
What with Spider-Man dance? What?
You haven't seen the made for children's features where they have like 20-year-old kids, like 19, 20-year-old kids that are dressed up as like Disney characters and Marvel characters, and they do inappropriate things with each other, and it's like content that's they actually market for kids and stuff.
Yeah, it's,
Wait,
it's
what?
in the kids section on
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's completely inappropriate material that's in the kids section of YouTube.
How hasn't it been taken down?
Because
YouTube is part of Hollywood and they all like kid fucking.
They
Like,
probably deem it educational, just like naked yoga.
Wait, what?
oh my god, have you ever looked up naked yoga on YouTube?
No.
Oh, no, Google it,
There's
or
like,
just
I don't look for
put
this shit.
naked yoga on YouTube and you can see full everything
On YouTube, though.
on YouTube. Yeah, you can see every inch of a female anatomy on YouTube in naked yoga.
Murph's
I
mind.
don't understand.
Like
I
if
just
you were
don't
looking at
understand
like
the
remember when
rules.
you went to the library and you saw National Geographic and they would have some African lady with like her boobs out? Okay, well this is the same thing but on YouTube.
It's like, yeah.
Except it's 2022 and it's not the African lady with like the plate in her lip and the boob down to her knee. It's some 22-year-old and she got ass implants. And
Wait.
This
They
is a real
stroke-
thing.
They strike this channel for
Right.
playing a trailer.
Yep.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
naked-
exactly. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yes,
It's very fucked up.
it's educational. It's
People get
education.
struck for making art where they show women's butts in leotards, but yet
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
I still don't get why naked yoga is okay.
it's educational.
Murph.
People want to know how to do the
No,
downward
no,
dog.
Murph. If now look, we can let's not be sexist. If ladies
Yeah.
would like to see penises on YouTube, you can look up. You
Wait.
you can look up penis pump ads, and you can
No.
find full demonstrations of penis pumps on YouTube.
You can see the actual penises?
Yes,
What?
That's
This
insane.
doesn't make sense.
And
it's on
how do
YouTube.
you know that they're 24?
I was gonna
Because 24 circles the darkest depths of YouTube. If you watch the rest of my content, you would know there's no shame in my game.
What are you doing on YouTube 24 hours?
Oh, Lord.
Complete debauchery and mayhem.
Everything.
So now it kind of makes me think, like, what's not allowed to be on YouTube? Like, can someone get murdered and we can see it on YouTube?
If
or
it's
no?
educational enough, possibly.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
I think they've in more recent past. I don't know about the educational part, but some things where they've done like live airing of things, they've cut.
Oh, you can't shoot weapons live, but you can make weapons videos. But you
Right.
can you can go live and do naked yoga if you wanted to. You could just do you could just do scantily clad yoga. Those are some of my favorite channels.
Wait a minute. Wait, this is what doesn't make sense.
Write it
So
down, Murph.
if a female went outside naked
Mm-hmm.
She can be considered a sex offender.
Mm-hmm.
Not in Maine with the shirt off.
Yeah, it depends.
Okay,
on
but
where.
we're talking the
Depends on
naked yoga. You're talking bottoms and everything.
Yes.
So if a female's naked outside on her own lawn, she could be a sex offender if kids see it.
Yes, in Ohio.
But children can now see this, and it's
On
not
YouTube.
a crime.
Yes.
And it's not a crime.
No.
What the
It's
hell?
educational.
I need to talk to a lawyer about this. This does not make sense.
Look, I'm just saying maybe we do some like wraparound covers with yoga poses, then maybe they won't get banned from Indiegogo. I don't know. But with that, man, would you like Miss Amanda B, would you like to finish up this reading of what's going on with this review so we can watch this badass trailer?
What kind of intelligence the CIA could be using Bin Laden's Visa card in every ATM in Virginia? It's the setup for a completely unbelievable action picture where Mills is given the opportunity to use one element of CIA spycraft after another. Read his enemies' minds, eavesdrops on their telephones, spy on their meetings, and when necessary, defeat roomfuls of them in armed combat.
Obviously, he doesn't know what a fucking, a combat specialist is, especially somebody in the CIA. Like, the scariest people I met in combat were not military. They were CIA.
Wow.
And other ghost government sections.
Yeah.
Yeah, those people could literally kill you without a weapon in like.
Oh, yeah, no.
30
They
seconds.
they could just kill you, and even if you were in the military, you'd just be erased.
Yeah, they get away with it.
Damn.
You're just ghost. They have that kind of power. They don't wear rank, they don't wear uniforms, they don't wear anything that marks them of any kind of. They're just. It's like walking around like a god. Like the operatives that operate in combat zones. Yeah, it's scary how ghosts they are.
So, did you see the remake of A-Team, the movie?
No, I did
'Cause they
not
have-
watch it.
They have a squad like that. I was just going to ask you so if that was legit because they had that same thing where they didn't
like
wear
a mod
anything.
squad?
Yeah.
You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that the military, like, and I wish they did this like all the time. But like when we were heavy combat, like when I joined up or whatever, there were people that were getting waivers to get into the military that couldn't get in the military today. I mean, they were getting waivers for like Grand Theft Auto and stuff. You know what I mean? Like kids who had stole cars, like several cars when they're teenagers or whatever. All those guys were getting in. You would never get in today. You would never get in with those kind of charges. They were given what they called God waivers. They're just like, we need bodies to be in combat right now. Fuck your record. Can you follow the rules of the military? That's what they basically said. Follow the rules of the military, you have a career, son. Your whole life's changed. Like magic fucking eraser.
Yeah.
They used to be an option. Like you could go to jail for certain crimes. There used to be a thing in certain states where you go to jail or go to the military. They'd give you the out of going to the military and like reform your life.
There's a lot of cultures that you have to serve in the military a year or two before you can do anything else.
You know what's the craziest thing in that I've always thought is that everyone wants to cry about citizenship for a bunch of different people, but I literally served with people from Russian countries, like former USSR countries, from different African countries who served multiple years and multiple terms in combat that were not granted citizenship, that still had to pass tests, that still had to go through scrutiny, that still had to do stuff, who had spent multiple years in the military, like sometimes 12 years, 6 years, 8 years in the military, serving another country. And if they did not get citizenship in our country, they would be fucked. They would be behind the stakes, and they would have to either go to jail, more than likely go to jail, but maybe they would have to serve their country, like their military time for their country that they were born a citizen of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are veterans in Mexico that are Mexican American citizens that should be American citizens that are Mexican citizens that served like in the military that they can't cross the border right now.
Wow.
There are veteran days that go by that American veterans that are Mexican citizens are not allowed in America. We're worried about everybody else.
Well, let's be honest, that our military servicemen and women that don't have free healthcare for the rest of their life is ridiculous. Like the injuries they get and stuff that we have to have these like GoFundMe things for, like the wounded, all of those different type of programs that are out there. That's crazy that those programs have to exist.
It is. I mean, this is something that we figured out in ancient civilization. You know that like the Spartans had retirement communities for their Spartans. Like if you did survive the multiple years of combat and like years, like you literally like leave Sparta for like 3 or 4 years at a time, go fight wars the entire time and battles for hours upon end with steel weapons, like their death was imminent at any point. Yeah, we had back then. I mean, even like the French Foreign Legion. Like if you join the Foreign Legion, you only have to serve 15 years, and they have retirement community. If you are an international criminal and you can't go back to your country of origin, they have a retirement community for you set up that you can retire into with pay. Wow. You just have to survive the death marches throughout the Sahara Africa desert. If you can survive the death marches, then you get wine, women, and money.
Dang.
Is that it?
Is that it?
My family.
Well, I mean, hey, if you murdered a bunch of people and your choices are going to jail forever and possibly getting the death penalty or just rotting forever or joining a foreign military and having a retirement plan where you have prostitutes and alcohol as part of that retirement plan, I mean, which would you choose?
Sure.
Wow. Hugs here?
Give me the women wine and what was the other one? Money?
Yeah. No. I mean, like the Foreign Legion supplies wine, cigarettes, and they don't talk about it now, but they used to provide prostitutes in field too.
Sweet.
Wow.
Sweet.
I totally flip sides.
I'm down for some horse.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
We got something here from
prison or flipping sides. That's not a tough choice.
What do we got here, Nick?
Oh, this was just my favorite meme I saw this week. I love this meme.
I don't get it. Why is this art? What? Why am I not getting this? But why? What's?
Because you have a very nice virgin wife. That's why. You weren't out here like me and Nick just slinging that thing.
Just filthy old animals.
I still don't understand how Arby's has anything to do with it. I think that's my biggest question.
I could show you some videos, but it would take us off YouTube. There's a handful of naked yoga that would explain everything.
I feel like I could take guesses, but I feel like whether I'm right or wrong, it's going to make me look bad.
With that, would everyone like to see the Taken trailer? Would we like to? Maybe we will get striked. Maybe we won't. Let's see what happens. Let's roll the dice.
Look at you, Bunny Boy.
Dad!
Oh, my darling. Happy birthday.
Dad, guess what? You know my friend Amanda?
Yep.
Her cousins asked us to spend vacation with them in Paris. I really, really want to go. Hi, Daddy.
You were supposed to call me when you land.
There's someone here.
What?
Oh my God, they got Amanda. They're coming.
All right, listen to me. Go to the next bedroom. Under the bed. Tell me when you're there. Now, the next part is very important. They're going to take you. I don't.
We probably just got struck down. Let's see.
I want to watch some.
No, it looks like it's still going for me.
Oh, all right. Well, pretty good trip. That's what I'm saying. Like, man, Ebert is a massacre artist when it comes to attacking movies.
Was that the full trailer? Because I was so
no, I stopped it because I thought it started to skip, and I thought it was doing the same thing that the last one was doing, where we were just like, fuck. Because the last one was skipping, and we were offline.
Okay.
Hey, Jeremy Burt's.
I think what may have happened is I had downloaded it. So I downloaded like 10 videos at one time on the StreamYards, and so it probably like made a couple of them jumpy. So I was just like, oh no, we're getting taken down again. Like we just got, like 1,200 subscribers back on this channel. Trying to keep it for a little while. Just a little while.
Yeah, but copyright strike's not quite the same thing, right?
Yeah, but it can stop us from going live on the channel, and then we'd have the confusion again. The mass channels. Although I do love all the support. Thank you everyone in the chat that comes up, whether you're in the 24 Hours chat or if you're in the Outcast Owls or Outcast Owls 2 chat, whatever chat that you may be in whenever we're broadcasting because of whatever circumstance we've gotten ourselves into. We appreciate all the love and support from everyone. And, it's building. It's building. Crack Pack every day. Bow. We are always doing stuff. But I think we had a great show here. We went 2 hours. We went 3 hours almost. We went way over budget, and we didn't even get everything in this show. It was action packed. I appreciate everybody on this panel. Lola, thank you very much for coming on. Murph, thank you. Derek was great too. Tell him that I love him. Nick, you are always welcome on this panel, sir. Always.
Pleasure to be here.
This was an amazing. I don't know. I don't know what else to say about it. I mean, we had a pretty good time. We were pretty nostalgic the entire time.
Are you going to give the rundown of where we can find everybody before we head out?
Yes, let's do that. Go ahead and run that, Miss Amanda B, while I'm looking for a closeout song.
So, I don't know who we want to start with. Want to start with Nico?
Sure.
Where can we find you?
Right
there in that box?
There. In that box. That's my name all over the place. And you can find me all over the place at that name.
All the social medias.
All the socials. And if you find that name on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel because I'm trying to build that up too. And I should probably be doing more streaming and making more videos. So I'm gonna try doing that.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna help Nick out with that. We got some big things coming with that because Nick's got some stories. He just doesn't realize what kind of content he's hitting.
Yeah, I need to learn how to put that content out there and craft it.
You're sitting on all the greatness. We'll get some shit going. I'm telling you.
Sweet.
All right, Lola.
Yo, what's up?
Where can we find you? And your lovely ass.
On YouTube, I'm Lola Meets with a Z, and on Twitter, I'm Snowballin2020, which is what's listed here. Yeah, I'm usually on somebody's channel from Comixgator on here somewhere, so you can always find me in the chats too.
Yeah, you do a good job of interviewing creators and bringing campaigns to people's attention.
I try.
And then Lola at night, where it can get a little raunchy at times.
Oh yeah.
That's where we get that pop culture opening going. We get that 6th floor.
We prefer the 7th floor, though.
I'm a degenerate. What can I say?
I think Lola's 50-50 on the 6th and 7th floor.
No, isn't she winning 38% depending on how much she drinks?
Depends on the day of the week, too.
Yeah, okay. And whether it ends in Y.
Yeah.
All right, Murph, where can we find you?
My Twitter is KJMurphy518. I probably should start putting it on things. Because Murph, you look up Murph, you're not going to find me.
It will also be in the description.
Huh?
It will be.
We'll be adding it to the description, sir.
Oh, okay, thank you. And then YouTube channel every Tuesday at 8. Murph and Dirk duke it out. Usually talk about music, mythology, or whatever the chat is feeling on.
Question of the day, food.
Question of the day, yeah. They've been very good.
Miss Amanda B, where can we find you?
I have been here weekly with you, Thursday nights at 9. Still going strong.
Let me tell you, people, this show doesn't exist without Amanda B.
We have some great lineups coming up for the next 2 weeks that I'm pretty excited about. And then come March 4th, Lola and I do a show with 2 other ladies Flying Feline, and Mrs. Goodstuff, which doesn't look like Mrs. Goodstuff was able to make it in the chat today, but usually she's here. And we just have kind of a girls' night and talk about some funny stuff, pull up some funny videos. It's a fun time with just girls, although the guys are welcome. We have quite a few guys because, you know, it is a CG-heavy guy thing, but fun for all.
Oh, and you can check me out. I'm 24 Eyes. You can see me here on Pop Culture with the lovely Amanda B and a panel full of amazing guests every week on Thursday. And you can see me every Wednesday and Sunday live with Skeletor the God, where we do the Outgang podcast. You also catch us out all around Spokane doing some IRL stuff, you know. And if you got an issue with this, pull up. But another one of our amazing Outcast Owl members is 216Zay. 216Zay is going to be doing some stuff here in CG in the future. Stand by to see that. But we're going to use him as our play out.
Nice.
So thank you very much to all the panel guests. Much love. Everybody subscribe to the Outcast Owls. Subscribe to Amanda B. Subscribe to Nico. Subscribe to Murph and Dirk. Subscribe to Amanda B when she's on the Uncorked and Lola. And check out 216Zay because he's worth a listen. To Cleveland local.
As you can see, me and Nikki G funky in the streets, knock your teeth out for even thinking you could speak on me. My brother Dominique never seen this side of me, but obviously I turned into a monster from what's inside of me. Yeah, I swear solemnly, never let the devil inside of me, cause he knows I'm the prodigy, shit I ought to be. I ain't selling shit, nope, not a soul. I'ma hit the road, platinum or gold, like let's go. Getting turned up on a Sunday, sipping Bombay till the funk sway. Hope you lit it like a breeze on your face on a hot summer day. Laying down, did he bad, did he come in my way? Hating ass motherfuckers always in my face. They be rapping since back in the day, they all lame. They just jelly cause I came up quick like a lip dick with Jessica Jameson? No, Jenna Jameson. Yeah. I'm pretty hype, yo, but check the saxophone. We ain't no micro omega, we macrophone. In the studio, ho, we're living on the road. Multi-directional, exceptional shit. We homegrown, you know me. Shopping around, stopping, bought me some hot wheels. Go and jock me, motherfucker, about to drop with some cocktails. Going rock on stock, cooking crocs in them sun shields. I see dumb shit, but come on, it's real. This a done deal. Spin that fun wheel, you ain't got shit without me. Nikki G, getting spiritual with OBE. Straight lyrical, empirical, no fear these OGs. Keep the sub stuffing, jumping, humping like the umpty. Is that alright? We pump these beats, screaming liquor thicker than blood. We run these streets and reppin' west to east, we central creeps. Cuz straight south on the 7-7 or the 7-1. You may not like a word I say, but when I'm dead, I'll be done. Ain't no son of a motherfucker shit. I got titles.